And that's exactly what I need. I need heavy therapy right now.
Yeah, this is bad.
This is it right here. Who knows what's gonna happen by the end of this?
I went to Tom Thumb yesterday, and I don't think I've ever bought so much wine in my life.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you get the essentials.
I mean, yes, it was. I got a lot of wine. I got Truly, and I got a 6-pack of beer. I'm not a beer drinker, but I'm like, hey, in this crisis,
Drink
at
everything.
some point, I'm just gonna like crack one open.
I
So-
finally bought White Claw. I had never tried it before.
I've
What?
never tried White Claw before.
What
No.
world do you guys live in?
I don't know. I'm just not one of those drinkers that drinks White
Yeah.
Claw. But I was like, there was a huge shelf full of them, so I was like, I might as well.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
It's
No
good.
wonder
mean,
people
I
like it.
I don't know if Target is trying to sell all their White Claw because we went this morning and it was literally the first thing when you get there. It's like White Claw, like just stacks and stacks. I'm like,
Yeah.
all right.
And it's the new flavors too.
Yeah.
I think they're thinking, listen, while you guys are going to be quarantining and doing nothing, please drink the shit out of this.
Yes.
Exactly.
Just get drunk.
Well, that's what everybody's looking for right now. Everybody's looking for White Claw. This is Uptown, so
Yeah. Have you
this is
guys
the
seen
White Claw capital of the world?
somebody sent me a map today that shows
Oh, the heaviest drinkers?
yeah, and it was
Texas.
Texas was
Yeah.
leading by far.
Yeah,
Well,
Would be the
duh.
case no matter what. We have nothing else to do.
it's true.
Yeah.
There's not much
Yeah.
going on here.
Yep.
So, is anyone with someone, married or boyfriend? Anybody?
Married.
Married? Okay.
Why
So he's
are you with
Oh, you don't have to brag.
hard question?
okay. So everyone else is by themselves right now?
Yes, I have my cat with me.
I have my 2 dogs. They're here somewhere.
Gotcha.
It's very depressing. No, I'm kidding. It's
Yeah.
fine. It's just
Adam was
weird.
going to be on this. Adam was going to be in this, but he's taking a nap. He's like, I just need a nap.
Yeah, because
Man.
it's so busy staying at home.
Heidi's doing
No,
yoga outside. though,
Well, he's been
Yoga
working. Like he's
outside?
actually been going to work.
with Damaris.
Of course. I love it. Great.
So
They just need destiny and they'll have the trifecta.
no, they do not.
Ooh.
Oh, they got the shots ready over there. Yikes.
I know.
Jeez.
We did I did a power
Me
hour on
campo.
Zoom yesterday
This is
with
my
some
favorite.
friends.
This is like the Tito's of tequila right here.
Hmm.
This and Espolón.
Damn. Let's
So-
do it.
All right. It's that
Power
kind of
hour?
party.
Do it. You guys ready?
I
Want
mean,
to do some shots?
sure. I mean, I don't
Some
have
do a virtual shot.
a virtual
Yes.
shot.
Hang on,
I'll have a big
Whoa,
sip
whoa, whoa.
of my wine.
let me see a shot
Cheers.
glass. Let me get a shot glass. Hang on.
Oh my god.
One's like, everyone
not
stop.
prepare.
We definitely got to do this. He's
I did
like,
not prepare for this.
great idea. I'll take credit for that one.
So, Monica, where does your husband work?
So he works for an architecture firm, and so they have kind of been working like overtime. But starting next week, he's going to start working from home.
Okay.
So he hasn't been working from home.
Dang, they haven't sent him home yet?
I know.
feel like,
No.
I feel like everybody's been sent. Like if you're not working from home yet, that company is
Bro,
suspect.
My office in New York still has people still working in there. They
Oh,
like,
yeah.
maybe,
That's
they said maybe
crazy.
next week. They said maybe next
Mhm.
week they won't work from
Maybe.
home. Yeah.
Like no one, like
Maybe
Times
next week.
Square is empty, and you're
Like the
still going
entire
to
city
office?
shut down.
I don't.
Yeah.
That makes zero sense. You know, the city's shut down, but we need you to come in today just because
Pretty
I
much.
need you to be there.
Pretty much.
Even though it's illegal.
Illegal.
I was ordered to
Yes, I
work
saw
from
that.
home as of Thursday. Anyway, cheers.
But cheers. Shot,
Cheers.
Shot, 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 shot.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Wow.
Cheers. I'll have a quadruple, I guess.
Ah.
Mm.
I debated on taking Molly before this. I have nothing else to do, but I don't know. I didn't want to be super.
The fact that he has it already questions his decision making.
Oh,
I know. I already know what he's doing after this is over.
he hasn't.
Yeah, well, I never do Molly. In fact, I've done it one time in my life 5 years ago. But this guy in my building just has a shitload of drugs, and we were about to be stuck inside. And I was like, I don't know why, but I was like, yeah, I'll take some Molly. And then I've been
He just
staring at
gave
it.
it to you?
No, I gave him
Oh.
money, but I've been
I was like, that's
drug deal.
questionable.
yeah,
It is a drug deal. Yes.
I've been staring at it, and I've been thinking, what am I gonna do? Like, I'm gonna start rolling and just watch Seinfeld? Like, I don't
By
know. What am I gonna
yourself?
do? Yeah, by
Toys,
myself.
Toys 4.
Yesterday,
You're gonna go
Jesse-
crazy on Molly by yourself.
know.
Yeah, I know.
This will
Probably
be the
not a
time to
good
do
idea.
drugs. This will be the time to do
Right,
drugs.
exactly. This is the time to experiment.
This
Yeah.
is the time.
What
It
else do you
does
have to
make
do?
you more what's it called? What am I trying to say? Like you can catch corona quicker if you're
More
on drugs.
susceptible.
Susceptible. That's what I was trying to look for.
Not if
Thank
you're in
you.
your house.
Yeah, if I'm in my house, I mean, unless Riggs has it, which I've already asked him, he said no.
He said no.
But if you're under the influence and you leave and you don't know it,
Right.
Well,
and then you touch your
I've
face.
heard somewhere, I saw a post one time at one point that said tequila kills the coronavirus. So
At one point, at one time, and at one
at
point.
one
one
point
time.
somewhere, I'm pretty sure.
I think
saw it.
Jesse
think
made
you
that
probably
post.
made
I think
that
I
up.
saw one time somewhere post something about tequila kills.
While you were on Molly.
if you take a
Wow,
tequila
wow,
shot
wow.
every night, you're it's supposed to like be healthy for you or
Right?
something. Yeah.
Right?
hmm
I mean,
My
it
mom
does
does
have
it,
the
but she
fun.
doesn't get drunk.
I talk about this a lot. So
There's
it's
a
funny.
there's a
Yeah.
liquor in Colombia called aguardiente, and it tastes like black licorice,
Oh,
and that thing
sounds
does
horrible.
cure. It does cure
How you
everything.
feel about
Is that
black
the
licorice?
clear
One likes the
stuff? Is
black
it like
licorice.
clear?
It is clear.
Yeah.
I want to get into what
Oh
Juan
my
asked.
Yeah.
Wait, what? What did
I'm
Juan
Juan
ask?
and Jesse.
Juan asked, "How do you feel about black licorice?"
He's like, Black, we got
No
something.
comment.
Oh, yeah. How do you guys feel about interracial dating?
Wow. Wow.
I mean,
It's-
I'm not
it's-
opposed to it.
Yeah,
I will say I was with a black woman. I was seeing her for a few months, and she was the most fiery woman I've ever had in my life.
I feel like
for
you
sure.
you always date white chicks.
Okay, so Justin Myers, when he got married, there was someone in the wedding that I met, and we kind of hit it off. But that
I
was when I
remember
was
her.
in New
Yeah.
York. Yeah, fiery, very, very, very fiery.
Fiery.
Anybody else?
I have never dated a black dude, but I'm
What
not
about?
opposed to it.
Well, you're Spanish, right?
hmm Colombian,
And white?
Colombian Dominican. So I'm not
So-
white.
Riggs.
No. So what about white guys? You date white guys?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
How come that doesn't fall into the interracial? It just immediately goes to black. Because
Ooh.
Jesse
Well,
did the same thing.
That's what I was thinking.
Jesse,
I'm like,
that's
yeah,
fine.
I'm
That's
not.
a
I was
good
too.
point.
I was like,
I never
hmm.
thought about it. I never really. I mean, I'm
No,
just.
I
I'm more
think that it-
American than any. But you're right. It's, I
it's
I
like
have
the
dated white
instant
guys.
thought. Yeah.
Oh,
Because
wow.
is your husband the same race or what?
No, so I mean, I'm Hispanic and he's white.
Nice.
I mean, yeah.
Interracial
So
marriage.
yeah, but let's talk about that. I mean, I had like when we started dating. He's from Louisiana, and so like the culture there's so much like it's so different than here in Texas. And so when this whole like the Trump administration, like he was running, his family, they were visiting us, and his mom looks at me and says, "Oh, like you're worried about like your people, you know,
Oh,
like getting
poor
deported or
people.
whatever." And oh my
So
gosh,
typical white
that-
person.
and I was just I had never experienced that. And we educated her, you know, like I think for her, she just didn't understand what was going on.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times it's just people not knowing the right thing to say.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know if y'all have ever heard, like, you know, when you have friends and they say, oh yeah, well, I have that one black friend or that one Mexican friend or that one white
One.
friend.
Yeah.
The
And
one
you're like,
friend.
so that makes you, it makes it okay to make,
Right.
it makes you an expert on that race.
Or
Um,
one step further when they say my baby's half black.
Mm.
Because Brent's baby is.
My-
it?
Well,
I do-
I'm not talking about Brent. I'm just saying I've heard people say certain things. They go, "Oh no, it's okay. My baby's half black, so like I can say things like the N word or stuff like that. My baby's half black, so it's
That's
okay."
not no.
That's not okay.
Not
I said-
okay.
I said, "Nigga, you better shut up."
Well, I was gonna say, I mean, really, I guess the only person that could say that's okay or not okay would be Juan, right? But
I'm not the
think-
official spokesman of all black people.
I also
I
think,
declare by
Yeah.
all the Negroes.
I also think if you have any common sense, you would know, like, clearly that's not okay. Although I do think
common sense. There you go.
that having a mixed daughter does give me a little bit more clout. Now,
Oh,
if I were to
absolutely.
roll through into the community, like I'm gonna, you know, I'll probably get to cut the line before Jesse does.
Yeah.
Well,
Give
first,
me-
your daughter's getting a little older, so you're gonna get looked up and down first. Like, what the fuck
Yo.
is he doing?
How old
That's
is
been-
your daughter?
That's been happening a lot. It's fucking weird. She's
Yeah.
about to be 13.
Going
next-
on 25.
Yeah, she looks 20.
Really?
She looks
Yeah.
20. Yeah, she's gorgeous. But like when we go places, I feel like I get looks like it's weird, you know.
Mhm. Oh, I know.
You can see it, and I'm like, whoa, hey, look, this is my daughter. It's a weird thing.
What did you do, Andrea? You're on mute now.
You're mute. You're muted.
Sorry, my cat got tangled into the window. So
Who's giggling?
Ooh,
Who's
I'm-
giggling?
I'm glad that
That's on
you. I was just talking to somebody the other day about cats. So my thought on cats. Here was the conversation.
You a cat hater?
Sorry.
No, I'm not a cat hater. I'm not a cat hater, but the thought is like I just
Thank you, Jesse.
I get confused about having a pet that you don't hang out with. They're always hiding. They never want.
No, they're not. Cats are super
Actually,
friendly.
I agree with you on that. Okay, I will agree.
No,
with you.
you don't have a cat, first of all, so you.
Or
I grew
your
up with
cat
many
is
a
super
cat.
friendly.
Say hi.
Oh, he's
Your
got
cat
bunnies.
is super
You wanna
friendly.
say hi? You say hi? Come say hi.
Yeah, my cat is very
Come on, come
friendly.
here.
He's like a
Come say hi.
dog. And
Come say hi.
oh yeah, the bunny.
Come say hi. Got two.
Oh my
Come on,
goodness.
Tango. Come say hi. Come on. Come say hi. Come say hi. You come over? Yeah. No? You don't want to
Say
come?
no, no.
How
You
That's
don't
cute.
say? No? Okay. All right.
His
Never mind.
bunnies names are Tango and Cash,
Cute.
which
that
is
is really
which
cute.
is freaking awesome. I love it. That would be
So-
if I were to get more dogs. That would have been my thought. Yeah. What were
So
you
back to
gonna
the cat conversation, because I'm gonna defend the cats. I am not letting this go.
Okay, Andrea, how much of your stuff has been ruined because of your cat?
0.
Ooh.
Good.
He hasn't ruined anything.
Good. That's
So
why
yeah,
I'm
so-
afraid of getting a cat, because if they knock anything over, I swear I'd probably give them away. 'Cause
No, he
I'm
hasn't
afraid
ruined
that they would
anything.
like knock down wine bottles or like a vase off the counter or
Yeah.
I mean, he likes to
And then
knock-
and then you would see that cat again like 3 months later after it did that.
No, it's not true. No, he does like to play with like my hair clips and stuff, but he hasn't ruined anything.
good.
And he will jump in the shower too. So if I'm taking a shower, he'll like poke his head and then jump in. See, there he is.
Really?
What about relationships? Has he ruined a relationship?
Not yet. I think I will ruin them quicker than he will.
Do you not have people that are allergic to cats? Like I know I'm allergic to cats. Does that
So
ever
far, no. And I think that I've been like, I'll ask like, hey, I have a cat. Even when I'm recording, I'll be like, hey, I have a cat. If you're allergic, you can't come record here. So, and it's
Yeah.
on my, if I'm on any dating profiles, you better believe he's in there.
That's good. Yeah, do it
Yeah.
up front. Yeah.
You know,
I like the honesty.
It's funny too to say like what I just said about cats, how you never see them. Meanwhile, being a dog lover, they're way more high maintenance. I got to take rigs out all the time. I got to do all this stuff. I
All
gotta give
the
them all this
fucking
attention.
time.
Okay, I have a theory though.
All the time.
So I think that
Are
men.
you a dog hater?
No. I grew up with dogs. And I love dogs. I didn't get one because I'm never home and it wasn't fair to the dog. That's why I got a cat. But I have a theory that men with cat are afraid of commitment.
Oh.
Oh.
Wow.
So men with
Yeah.
men with
do
dogs
not.
are not.
No, because it requires time and you
Right.
have to be home by a certain time. You have to like take them out and really commit your time to them. Cats, they don't really need much attention.
I also
That's
think that
true.
men with cats,
And-
like I feel like that's
So you
Weird.
guys remember the story about the guy of the 30? That was both guys actually. The both stories that I told you guys in our episode.
Yeah.
oh
The one
yeah.
that broke. They both had cats.
No, oh my, that should have been your first clue.
I know. I mean, I came to that conclusion months later. After did
Mon-
another guy with a cat, and he also bounced. So I
Oh
was
my
like, okay.
god, Monica, Melanie, do y'all know the stories that she's talking about?
No. Tell
No.
me what cat?
So
what?
I told him. You guys have read my blog though, haven't you?
Yeah,
I
but
haven't.
girl, I can't keep up.
Okay, fair
So
enough.
many stories.
I know.
And they were
So
all
it was
juicy.
It was one story about a guy that I dated on New Year's Eve, or well, I had been dating, and we went out on New Year's Eve, and he
Oh,
didn't
yeah.
fit the bill, and he was a dick.
Oh,
so
okay. Yeah.
that
Yeah,
one.
loser. Yes.
Big L. I mean, I got these guys. were, like,
Trash.
so many red flags, and I'm like, okay, I missed.
Which
them
one
all.
is this? The New Year's guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. The flag. First of all, cat red flag.
Me and Brent are just
Well,
meeting
no, I mean,
meet-
okay.
meeting the kid after like the third hour, another red flag.
Yeah.
I feel like if a guy gets a cat, he's lonely.
yeah, and then he
But
didn't
then
even
you don't
try
have
to
to take
bang
care of
you
the
for like a
cat.
month
Get
and
a
a half.
dog.
Yeah, good. I mean, dogs.
I actually had a friend, Andrew Ryan, who literally just got a dog free, like adoption fees and all of that were waived right before all this stuff started to happen. Well, I mean, a week ago. So when it started to happen, but it was like getting apparent that it was going to be serious. He got a dog. He was like, yeah. But
You know what
Quarantined
he
with a dog.
You know what he told us, that he was on acid
no, that was the
and
next day.
shrooms.
That was the next day.
He was
Yeah,
what?
the day previous, he took
Acid and
he took
shrooms.
acid and shrooms and had quite a few amount of shots. So
Yeah.
he was just
Oh
like,
my goodness.
he was like, end of the world, fuck it.
In the world, let me just get blackout. Oh, I got a
Oh,
dog.
mushrooms. Oh, acid. Let's fucking trip. And he was tripping.
Oh.
He was.
I
Went
mean,
to
I do
ruins.
think a lot of alcoholics and drug addicts are coming out of this, and a lot of babies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, a lot of babies.
Will you stop saying that?
Ooh.
You scared or
Oh.
what?
It's like Like I just
Juan.
got married. Don't do that.
Look,
Juan,
look,
you got. I thought you had a good jumper and a good pullout game.
Ooh.
well, my pull-out game is not as strong as it used to. My knee's not good anymore, so I can't react as fast. I don't have those hip flexor muscles that I had back in the day. I can't get out too fast.
Yeah.
It's
mostly core. It's mostly core.
It's
It's core.
core.
It's all the core.
Lower abs. There's a lot of lower abs.
It's
Lower
core in
abs.
your mind. You got to be able to control it.
No, I wouldn't be surprised if Santa brought a gift. That's all I got to say. So.
Whoa!
Oh.
You just basically spoke it into
That's-
existence.
Yeah, you
Hey, it better be now.
Remind me in 9 months.
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
talk. Let's talk in
Better
like
than
4
never.
months and see.
Yeah, hey, we're gonna do it. I want to go ahead and do it now. So why wait?
Yeah.
There you go.
Not get
Yes,
any
sir.
younger.
There's going to be a
That's
lot of
true.
December babies.
Lots.
A lot of probably like a lot of New Year's,
Yeah.
Christmas.
I'm
Yeah.
going
New Year's.
celibate. I'm going or abstinent, whatever you want to call it. I'm not doing it at all.
I'm
Whatever
doing
it
that.
is, I'm doing it.
Jesse.
For
So
what? Just today?
yeah,
For the next 2 hours.
yeah.
Right.
For
I've
the
been doing
24
good.
hours.
I've been doing good. It's been good. It's been good.
Yeah.
Well, now you're quarantined.
Well, because
You
the
got no choice
the
now.
strip clubs are closed, so you can't.
Shut
Ouch.
the fuck
Oh
up.
my God.
Brent, really?
Ah.
Really?
I'm just
Are we
kidding.
going?
I'm
Are we
kidding.
going there?
No, we're not.
I was probably not the
I-
last person that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell them though about the girl that you were
Are you
recently
gonna throw
dating.
me under the bus?
No,
again?
no, the girl that
Okay.
you were recently dating that was celibate.
Yeah, it didn't work
Oh
out.
yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, she was very pretty and
Yeah, she
very
was.
great. So question. So celibate, that's cool, but then the guy still has to pay for everything.
Mm.
Mm.
Who's telling you that you have to pay for everything?
Is she? Is that what she's
It's-
expecting?
It's pretty. It's
She
pretty.
never
apparent.
reached for a wallet. She never reached.
Now
so
she
didn't do the
doesn't.
reach.
She
Oh.
doesn't really drink alcohol, but she does
Mhm.
like to go to nice restaurants and
Mm.
expensive sushi.
Did she
Gotcha.
expect you to pay for everything?
Pretty much.
And you never
Wow.
said anything?
Well, I said it with my actions
What can a guy say
No,
though?
you
What
need
were
to
your
s-
actions? You just bounced?
because if I say anything, I'm gonna be an ass.
What can he say though? What can he say that he wouldn't sound like an asshole?
Exactly. I can't say
I
anything.
think that, I don't know if we talked about this before, but I think that there is a point where if you guys have been dating for a while or like a certain amount of time, I don't think there's like a specific time, but you should be honest about it and be like, hey, do you mind splitting this time?
Ooh,
Yeah.
I don't like that. I don't like that.
I can't do it.
Yeah,
no.
that's a weird. That's a,
So you
That's a
don't
guy-
like
it's weird.
honesty, so you don't want to communicate.
It's not.
No, it's not
honesty.
honesty. It's you guys say that you.
So what was the
want
problem?
that.
Could because you had to pay for everything and she was celibate, or
I think it was because he
No.
wasn't having sex.
Well,
I would just like.
Essentially, you're saying that you're buying dinner.
Now,
for,
I don't want to like associate sex and money either. Like, I don't,
Yeah.
you
we
know,
don't.
Yeah.
We don't.
I
but
think
I
I
don't
think
think
it comes
that's
down
fair.
to one thing. Jesse's not trying to be celibate, and you're attracted to her, and she
Yeah.
was celibate, and it's kind of like you're like I don't know if this is the relationship I want to
But then
Yeah.
it's
hold
like.
out.
Okay,
with,
so
you
then
know?
I said this on the on our episode. So we had a night where it was like we watched a movie, Pride and Prejudice, which I'm not a big fan of. Very long movie, does not really get going. It's just and then
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't think I asked you this last time. How old is she? How old is she?
23, 24.
And she's
young.
very sensual. Like when you meet
Very
her,
sensual.
she just has this
Oozes
whole,
energy.
like yeah, she oozes like sexuality.
And so then we were cuddling, and then she put her butt, in the.
on him. We
Oh,
talked
they-
about this.
But it's like,
Yeah,
oh, but
I'm
no,
gonna
but,
let
oh, but
them
no.
give their opinion on that. I'm just gonna.
Oh, but no. Oh, but
Yeah,
no.
we
Oh, but
want to
no,
hear
but-
Monica and Melanie's opinion.
And I can't be aggressive because she already said no. So
Well, I mean, I feel like, a woman can still be sexy and be sensual and also respect, like, that's her belief that she wants to be
Yeah.
celibate,
Yeah,
you
that's
know?
fine.
So,
agreed.
but you also have, like, you should also communicate how that is making you feel
Yeah.
as far as, like, hey, like, this is, like, physically, you can't help, if a beautiful woman is rubbing against you, you're going to feel something.
For sure.
And
She gonna feel something.
Yeah.
yeah.
Everyone's gonna feel something.
We all
feel
feeling
something.
stuff.
We all feeling something.
People next door might feel it.
Yeah. They'll hear it.
never hear my name.
No, I get what you're saying. I think that
There was no name.
I think the thing would be like if you're trying to be celibate, why? And it could be anything. It could be any reason. Like,
But she's not a virgin, right?
No,
There's
she's not
no-
a virgin.
So it seems like maybe
But she
there's
also
a
just
past.
okay. So this was probably February.
Yeah,
February-ish. She just gotten over a relationship in December. Actually, wasn't a relationship. It was a situation with a guy where it sounds like he was an asshole, and she was really into him, and he was just kind of like meh. And I guess they were having sex, and kind of hurt her because he kind of like treated her like he didn't didn't care or anything like that. So she was like, "Hey, I want to overcome that or overcompensate for that by being super celibate and all that with me." But that had just happened, so that's kind of like still fresh, and I could tell by conversations that was still very much on her mind and was like weighing down on her. So I understand that. So that's probably more of the real reason why, like, hey, you're still going through some stuff. Like, you still need to like handle that and all that, and you need to kind of heal. I need a lot of time to heal, especially after, like, even after like a relationship. My last relationship was like 9 months, 8 or 9 months. 8, and it took me a long time to get over that. Just some people take.
Yeah, I think in that situation though, if you really like someone, you're gonna be like, all right, if you're celibate, I'm cool, I'm down to like wait or whatever. But not putting yourself in those positions where you're laying in a bed watching a 2.5 hour movie.
Okay, cool. So
putting your ass in
the back.
You stay over at my place.
Something's gonna happen if you do that.
Maybe you should have put your foot down and be like, maybe you need to go home.
Well, that was the last night that we hung out, so yeah.
Because you're putting yourself in that situation too.
I did make you watch
Pride of Them,
which is
true. Very true.
I've never even seen that movie, so good.
I've seen it, but like that's not
an American
movie to
classic.
watch on a date.
No.
It's like, no.
Unless like you're like super serious, but
that's
not
a movie. That's a movie that you put on so you can just. It's so boring that you can just have sex.
Yeah, and it comes back. Okay,
right.
so something. What?
It's like, oh, let's put this on because after 15 minutes we'll probably just start hooking up.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and I have my theory about like the butt against your, you know. I mean, I'm gonna let you guys, Monica.
Wait,
I mean, if you do that, that's what you want.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I think that she's like conflicted. She's conflicted. She's conflicting of like, if I do the same thing that I did with this other guy, I'm going to end up getting hurt. So now, like you said, now I'm overcompensating by saying no sex at all, but I still want it because I've had it before. Like when you already had something and you know it was good, you're going to want it again. Like,
I think
especially if you're attracted to him and you're trying to date.
Of course.
I think the intimacy.
I feel like she probably is still like healing from her past.
Exactly, and so I understood that, and that's the real reason why I was like, you know what, let's just.
Well, I don't think it's so much that she wanted sex. I think she still wants intimacy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
she wants
and those
that,
are two different
she
things.
hasn't fully.
Exactly. The company and the internet.
But she hasn't fully healed, and that's the biggest issue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Jesse wasn't trying to be the hero.
I'm not.
He wasn't playing hero ball.
Good luck, Chuck.
So
he was being a team player.
So I have a question for the guys. If a girl hasn't healed, because I'm a therapist, so if a girl hasn't healed or like worked on herself, should she be dating?
Not at all. I don't think so.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I mean, that's a tough
but
one because
I think a lot of times
we're all
women
healing.
don't know that they're healing.
Yeah,
or know how to heal.
Okay, as a guy, I know that when I get heartbroken, and Brent can attest because he was around for it.
Yeah,
I go through like a crazy, like I got to.
He turns into a Jesse that you're just like, someone needs to watch him 24/7 because he might pass out in the street on Main Street.
I wish I could say that was not true, but yeah. So like I go a little crazy. I get a lot of stuff out of.
I think we all handle it a little bit differently.
We all have our own ways. So I understood that in what I saw in me, and I could kind of see that in her. So I was like, you know what? I just need to not be around for this.
So let me ask a counter to, since you're a therapist. So if you know a girl is healing and you guys like each other and you're like, I'm going to wait and let you heal and do you, I mean, can you even, because once she comes out of that, you're part of that like past scenario.
Ooh.
Can you still be the person for her, or does she need to move completely on for something completely new?
So the thing is, it's like with healing, it's that person's own personal responsibility. It's not the other person's responsibility. So I think I don't think when people say you really need to heal first before you start dating, I don't think it's the case for everybody. I think that you can have your healing journey and date and figure out and put yourself out there. I recommend it for my clients all the time. Like I said, I know you still have some shit to figure out, but that doesn't mean you deprive yourself from, going on dates and meeting people. Yeah. But you need to make sure that you establish your boundaries, right? So for her, it sounds like she, the girl that you were dating, sounds like she was like her boundaries, like she wanted to have them, but she was having a hard time trying to figure out what, I guess, I don't know. I think she was just conflicted. I think she really liked you. She was attracted to you, and she was conflicted in doing something, but her body wanting something else.
So
Mom's telling me no.
So one
Very
thing I
good.
didn't say.
Exactly.
One thing I didn't say in my response earlier, going crazy or whatever, what I was trying to say though and get to is there's a person or two or three after that heartache.
Wow.
Not
Wait,
one,
horrible.
Four.
not two,
Not one.
not three, not
Maybe I'm just not in the my.
You got to go through a hoe phase.
I just
Yeah,
have to
yeah.
get my mind
We
off
all,
it.
we
and
all
that
need a hoe
person-
phase for sure.
Hotel everybody.
sole purpose
Yeah.
is to get my mind off of that.
And see, that would be hard if you're
I'm
like
just being honest.
if you're
though.
that dude that's like
sounds so
been
horrible.
waiting in the shadows and then you're ready
It's
to
like the guy on the.
he's
meme.
like ready to
Who's that-
swoop
who's
in,
that
but
on
she
the
needs to
meme
heal,
in
and
the
she
suit?
needs a hoe
Oh
phase.
yeah.
Yeah, then you guys are in totally different, like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not
positions
that
in your
guy.
life. Yeah.
Yep.
So as a therapist, dude,
Oh,
I
Not at
know
33.
I know that this wasn't asked to the guys, but I think the same thing. If I see a girl that's in a relationship and she's posting stuff like that, I'm thinking the first thing I think is she's talking about that relationship.
well, yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
Right? Like why else would she post it? Or
There's
she's
no
talking
way
about
that she isn't.
or
There's
like
no way
for
she isn't.
instance, a girl that I was seeing at some point posting something that I know she's talking about me, and then I make a comment and they're like, "Oh, you thought that was about you?" I'm like, well,
You
who else
said
is
Brent.
about?
Well,
You said
yeah.
Brent.
Mm-hmm.
That
definitely a
those
way to
4
catch your
words spelled my name.
Yeah, it's definitely to get your attention.
Yep.
So
Uh,
why not just then why do that? Why not just communicate and talk to us rather than post some passive aggressive meme for everyone to start questioning? Because everyone's not we all know when
Right.
we see this, we're like, what's going on?
Because she wants to convey
And
the
then
message.
because then
Yeah,
you're making
it's
it
'cause
then
they
you're
wanted
putting
to
the
send
problems
out that
outward.
message
and she wants for her friends to see that you're
that you
posting
ain't
that.
shit.
And then,
Yeah.
and then they want to see
Damn.
if you're gonna interact with it, like comment on it or like it or something.
I feel like
that,
that's
I feel
that
like, right?
that
Am I wrong on that?
I feel like that's
They
not-
want your reaction.
Yeah,
but oh,
it's
man,
definitely a reaction. It's just.
I feel like
to get your-
that's the worst way to go.
Yeah.
That's gonna get
I
not only a
agree.
reaction, but also that's
That's
gonna
gonna push you away further.
for sure, because then you're gonna be
Yeah.
like, yo, what happens if we get into a fight and you just are you gonna tell everyone about this, and then now everyone knows our business, and then
Mhm.
now we've got not just our problem, now I got fucking 30 people in our business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People love
And
to
they
get in that
know,
business.
trust me, her friends and family know that is about you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everyone
They've
knows.
They've got screenshots of all your messages too.
Oh yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Screenshots
Yeah.
all
Oh,
day,
yeah.
every day.
Damn.
That's why I don't like
We
texting.
screenshot each other all the time. That's friends. That's homies.
I've never screenshotted.
Why?
anything.
Why would you screenshot
I've
it?
only screenshotted texts that we have with you, me, and Juan because Juan has an
If I don't
Android
wanna
and I don't
relay
get the
the-
text, so I text
Hold
like,
on.
"What am I
It's
missing?"
like-
here?
Can we talk about Androids for a second?
No. Yes,
No.
we can.
We're
I
not
do want to
talking
talk
about
about it. I do want to talk about that, but just to
Who has
just-
an Android?
I know.
Monica.
First of all,
Juan has an Android.
That's for. I know you underintelligent people don't know what an Android is. It's okay. I'll say slowly. I'll
We've
say
had to
slower
we've,
so you can
we've
understand.
had
what
to
I'm saying.
switch. We've
Do
had to
you
switch
understand the
to
words coming out of my mouth?
no, because I don't get the words coming out of your mouth till like 3 weeks later,
I've
Yeah.
never had a phone
and it comes out of
conversation.
order.
You know what they can't
I've
do on
never
an
had it
Android
where
is
the
react
phone-
to a text message.
Oh my gosh! Like the thing
Why
is,
do I need to
that's
react to that?
true. You
No,
can't
no.
react and you
Literally,
can't see if
Juan,
it's delivered or
Your
not.
Yep.
Android screwed up the text on this text message. What was this name that you said earlier?
so we were texting. We have a group chat, right, for our podcast, and for whatever reason, I
Remy
can't.
Cas-
I'm
get-
Casimir?
sorry that it's green.
What is
Yeah.
Remy Casimir? Where did that come from? That was
What?
not even in there.
Who?
Remy Casimir. Like it changed.
Yeah,
the-
I don't know,
the-
man. It's
that
so
was
weird.
so weird. I've
Dude,
never seen
like
that
the
before.
texts come out, but Jesse gets them, but I don't get them.
Yeah.
So we had to start a WhatsApp just so we can,
Yeah,
have
this is weird.
talk in real
Yeah.
time because
Wow.
we
Weird.
were legit trying to discuss actual business stuff.
I'm
and
freaking
Juan's
forced to-
texting, and it's like literally coming in. I got a text from April 3rd, and it hasn't even happened yet. I got a text from February 28th. Like it's
Hold
just
on. You
all
say
out of
your
order.
text messages went into
The
the
future.
future.
Yeah.
No, I texted you
bet.
last year.
Text
Texted
from
you
the
last year and
future.
said, I know
Yeah.
you don't know me right now, but next
Yeah.
year is going to be amazing. That's what I said.
Oh my god.
Little did you know that it was going to be terrible.
Well, yes,
Kobe
I didn't know.
died. Now we can't even leave our place.
Yeah, I didn't know.
It's like the worst
This
year
is
ever.
insane. Like, I'm sorry, but like, isn't this bizarre?
It is. So I was going to
It
ask. So
is.
Melanie, are you single as well?
Yes.
So for the two single ladies, how is this affecting your dating? Are you
So
talking to
I'm
more
glad
people?
you brought that up because I was gonna ask. I wanted to bring that up too. So I haven't even been like swiping or anything. I haven't even tried, but I thought about it because I have seen a lot of people like having like hangouts, like Zoom meeting dates.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's
And
a thing.
I'm like, maybe I should be open to that. I don't know. But then if like
fun.
someone's not on a dating app, I've never like slid into anybody's DMs either. So do you guys like it when girls like slide into your DMs?
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
I do. As a guy, I do.
My past life, 2019 was I was a and beyond. I had way more success sliding in DMs than I've ever had on like
Really?
Tinder or oh yeah, way more.
Well, I think you had success because you had so many attempts.
Yeah, well yeah, for
Take
sure.
more shots. You put
Absolutely.
more shots up.
Hey,
Put more
you gotta,
shots up.
you know they say a shooter's got to shoot. You got to shoot your shot, and I shot it a lot. Okay.
I will say I have a lot of friends who are chicks say, so your friend Brent. So yeah, so he had me on
So
Instagram.
yeah,
I know about all of my friends that
Yeah.
Brendan set up. I personally told
that's
me
the
about every
backfire.
single-
That's the backfire is when you do that now.
Hey, I'm still here.
Half
look.
of Dallas is probably like, oh yeah, Brent slid in my DM before. We actually had a podcast guest on, the 2 before you, who I slid into her DM.
Did?
Yeah.
How did it go?
2 years
Hold
ago.
on, that's not the only person that we've had on the show. That
Nope. That's not the only one.
Who was the other one? Oh, Christiana.
Andrea, I think you're the only one that he hasn't slid. The only guest that hasn't been slid in DMs.
With Christiana though, like there was a. I don't think there was a chance, but she at least we talked. It's only because it's only because Jesse's in love with her.
See, that's number 2. That's number 2. Throw me under the bus. Number 2.
That's going to be his future wife. It should be.
No,
We need to tag
She is
Christiana in this.
beautiful. She's super
She is
cute.
amazing.
this
I
is
love
being
her.
recorded. Thank you.
She's
This is on the
she's
podcast,
best.
by the way.
Edit it out.
She's the best.
She
Right?
is.
She is
amazing.
the best.
Like,
She's
what the
great.
heck?
Yes, very much.
You
so.
guys would make a perfect.
Okay, so next topic.
So have you guys ever gotten a guy's number and then you text him and he's got an Android? Do you
Yes.
you immediately go like,
Oh,
this isn't gonna
My
work?
heart sinks every time. I'm like,
Yeah,
oh,
it's not gonna work.
no.
It's just not gonna work.
No.
Yes,
It's
or
like
they want
you live
to
in Fort
text,
Worth.
or they want to text on WhatsApp.
No,
What
Yeah.
the fuck is
Unless
that?
you live in like I use WhatsApp a ton with my family because they're
Yeah,
overseas.
WhatsApp is great for
Yeah.
group chats.
Shit.
But not for somebody here. Like, no,
Yeah.
I'm not fucking texting you on WhatsApp.
I'm like, wait, you're an American. No. We say group chats are another thing.
Okay.
Because when you have someone, if you don't all have an iPhone and you have a group chat, shit's gonna get, especially if you send videos or whatever, they're gonna be small. So WhatsApp is great, but a one-on-one text and they live here, that's super sketch.
Yep,
Yeah.
it is.
You're
If
like,
I get a
yo,
green
what the
text,
fuck is
I'm
this?
like-
Like your Rolodex of like side bitches that you have?
Yeah.
Like, is that what's
For
going
sure
on
it is.
here?
That's
Right?
I
exactly
immediately go to like I don't trust this person.
It's like if a guy goes, "Hey, what's your
Hold on.
Snapchat?" You're like,
But
first of all, why
That's
are
what I
you?
was gonna
Why?
say too. I'm
Right.
like, when they
Certain
ask for
things
Snapchat, I fucking hate. I don't give anybody
I don't
Snapchat.
have
I don't even use it.
anymore.
Yeah.
But it's like they want to send you stupid ass pictures, like dick pics and stuff, and I'm like, I'm not into that.
Mm-mm.
Like, I've gotten videos of them having sex with other women
What?
on Snapchat. Yes.
What?
Wow.
Is it
And
someone
so they
that-
think that that's going to be the thing that's like, hey, I can really make this chick like me.
If I'm
And
fucking-
this is
you
why
have
I
to-
don't use Snapchat anymore.
Was he pointing at the camera the whole time having
Wow.
sex? Going, this could be you, girl. This
This could be you one day.
Oh my
This could be you
God.
right here. You see
No,
what I'm
I
doing?
don't want that shit. That's so gross.
God, what a bold
No.
move. Snapchat's just like, I feel like Snapchat is like New Orleans. It's like Bourbon Street. You just,
Yes.
you get on
it
it and you're
is.
like, oh my
Gross.
God. Like,
It's
as
dirty.
soon as I get off Snapchat, I'm like, I should see a doctor.
Also, like, have you guys ever like sent an unsolicited dick pic? Because
No.
Oh yes, good
no, I
question.
So
be
I've
honest.
I've never sent it to a girl that hadn't already seen or
That's the rule.
or we hadn't already exchanged like pictures or what, you know what I mean? Like I never have sent a dick pic to a girl that we hadn't talked about sex or like hadn't asked, you know what I mean? We
Yeah.
talked about this
Yeah.
on one
It's
of
just
our
not gonna-
episodes.
Yes or no?
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah,
you have to
no.
get to a
Yeah.
level of intimacy.
Okay, so I think unsolicited would be sending
Unsolicited.
a dick pic to a girl
nowhere.
out of nowhere. No, never.
No.
So
never.
it was a girl that
That's ridiculous.
we
That's
were
like
kind
that's
of
a felony. Should
seeing
be.
each other, but she lived in a different state and she had already seen it.
Yeah, no. If they've
Well,
already
yeah.
seen it, it's not unsolicited
I thought-
because
yeah, I think she already seen it. Yeah.
No.
Well,
Yeah, and
unless
if you guys sext a little bit, like that's fine. But as girls, we
Because you have to sex a little bit.
yeah.
I mean, I cannot
Yeah.
tell you how many messages I've received in the past of literally just like a dick pic out of nowhere.
out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Who are you?
Okay,
First of all,
I will say this as what?
No, go on.
I was gonna say as a guy sometimes, and I'm not saying me, but some people, it's hard to know where the line is drawn.
Well, here's the line: you don't send a dick pic to a girl you've never talked to.
obviously.
Yeah, but that's what they're asking.
Okay.
That's the
Okay.
unsolicited part.
Mhm.
Or I would say never talk to. First of all, that's
Oh,
insane.
of course.
But even like you guys talking to you, like we've talked, but we've never even talked like that. So if I were to send that, that feels unsolicited as well. Like,
Oh yeah,
we're not.
Yeah.
you'll be
like,
blocked
definitely.
immediately.
You know what I mean? Like, there's
Absolutely.
no. You have to be, I think, on that sexual barrier of
Right.
talking about
I
stuff
will.
like that.
I will say one time I did a subliminal dick pic.
Whoa, what is that?
What is a
You
what is
sent
a subliminal?
Plain.
banana?
No,
Banana in the
yeah,
tailpipe.
it was a banana. I was like, I'm not falling for a banana in the tailpipe. No, I was, I was taking a mirror. I was doing a mirror shot.
Banana.
I was doing a mirror shot. I just got through working out, and I had
Oh,
the
you made sure the shadows
I
looked
had-
right.
No. I had the sweatpants were hitting just
course.
right. Let's just
Yeah.
say that.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. The
sweatpants-
shadows.
the
the
sweatpants
shadows-
was hitting. I said, "Ooh!" I said, "I'm gonna send old girl this photo." I said, "Whoop!" And she sent back like her eyes like got real big, and she's like, "Oh, we doing that now?" I was like, "What?" I was telling you a picture, showing a picture, saying, "Hey, I just got to working out." She was like, "I know what you were sending me." She said, "Message
So,
loud and clear."
Can I ask? Did you guys have sex?
After that, yes, we did.
He's like, I actually just married her.
So
yeah, I know, right?
I guess the key is to send subliminal.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's okay
sweatpants.
with if it's like again. I think that in my case, like, and I'm sure Melanie, you've probably gone through this too, is when you are on dating apps, like that's probably like the second message that you get. It's like, hey, what's
it
up,
dick
girl?
pic?
Then all of a sudden, yeah,
Damn.
Mhm.
Really?
On the app, you can even.
Whoa.
Well, on,
yes.
what app? Because I know like on Tinder you could never send on Bumble.
I mean, this is a long time ago. So the last time
Okay,
I got
hold on,
this
now
was
what's a
probably
long
like
time
2
ago?
years ago. Well, a year ago,
Okay.
year and a half
Okay.
ago.
Yeah, this has been a long
Not that
time.
long.
Okay.
So I know that they've been like a lot stricter, but it's happened. Because on Bumble before you had to like hold down the picture and then
yeah.
it would like first come up blurry, and then if you held it down, like then you would see the
Okay,
picture.
Andrea, I want to ask you a question. So, how far along when you're talking to someone on Bumble or any kind of app do you give them your phone number?
Ooh, good question.
I don't like to give it away that quickly, to be honest. I mean, well, so I like to, if we set a date, I prefer to ask for the number. That
Mhm.
way I have it.
Juan.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's weird because I've done all of
That's
it. Like I've done it many different ways. But I would say like
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm gonna meet someone. I don't like to talk to someone on an app for that long anyway. So
Yeah,
I would
true.
say, like within a week.
Yeah, like when I met my husband, I immediately told him like, "Give me your number. I want to talk to you on the phone. Like, I'm not gonna be here on an app going back and forth for a week.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
let's
A
meet in
week is already
person."
like pushing it. Like I don't.
Yeah.
I'm not on an app for more than like talking to someone for more than like 2 days.
Yeah,
Monica, how long have you been married?
a year.
Okay. How long were you guys? Congratulations, by the way.
Thanks.
How long were you guys, or how long have you guys been together or known each other?
So since 2015, so we met on Tinder.
Nice.
Summer of 2015. So we're a Tinder success story.
Well, who reached out first?
I did.
What was your line?
I don't know what I said. I don't know what I said.
What do you
Tell
mean?
me.
I don't
Share.
know what I said. I
You
honestly
Please
had
tell me
it-
you
talking
said.
about?
Did you say
So-
Nickelback or Creed?
Ooh.
That was his go-to.
That was my go-to line.
I told someone about that earlier. Actually.
Okay, so if that was like, well, if their answer was Nickelback,
It's either
So
way,
I had
we're
a
both
formula.
great.
If it was Nickelback, I'd be like, oof.
And
Can't
they
get
say the
Yeah, but
hero
it would always just be to get a reply. It would just be to get a reply. Like I don't like it.
what I've done before is fuck,
No,
Mary,
no.
kill.
Ooh,
Mm.
no.
What?
I've done
What was
fuck,
it?
Mary, kill. Like fuck, let's say like I don't know,
Oh.
Hillary Clinton,
Fuck,
Marry,
Mary.
kill. That's good. That's good.
All right,
Yeah.
right now, Andrea. Fuck, Mary, kill. Me, Brent, Jesse.
Oh, you
Let's
can't
hear
get
it.
out
Oh
of this
no!
one.
I no. Oh my gosh.
Gotta do
You
it.
set
You have
yourself
to
up
do it.
for that
You
one.
Set it up.
Oh my! I know. It was like I just laid it out there. Oh shit. Okay, so no one gets offended, and no one gets their hopes up either.
Listen, you know how many girls have told me they want to kill me? I will not get offended.
No, she's gotta kill me because I'm married, so she's gonna kill me first.
Yeah, so that's what I was thinking. Like, I mean, I can't do either because
Mhm.
he's already like taken. So
Ooh.
between you two,
It's just not me,
Ooh,
Brent.
yeah. Oh, this is good.
I would probably fuck Brett and then marry Jesse because Jesse's more sensitive than you are.
Oh.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
All
That is the nicest thing anyone's ever said to me. Thank you so much.
Great.
I'm actually
Brent's like happy. Brent said
Thank
yes.
You win.
Oh my God, I did not expect
God.
that. Anyway.
finally someone that doesn't want to marry me.
Oh.
Kidding. I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding.
Yeah.
This is
And
recorded,
I've
by the way,
been
Brent.
basing this on like I've only met you guys for like I don't know. I've only known you guys for like what 2 weeks, a week.
Yep.
So
Yep.
I don't know. Ask me again in 3 months. We'll see if my
No,
life.
you're pretty.
I actually
pretty
had
good judge of
a
character.
there's a girl that lives directly across the hall, like down the hall from me, and
yeah.
she started listening to our podcast.
Really?
And she
see her.
texted me yesterday, and she was listening to the one before Andrea with the doctor.
Mhm.
I can never remember his last name. It was what is it? So I don't
Juan?
McKeldry?
What's in?
Yeah,
McEllery. Brian McEllery.
Yeah. So, and she was listening, and she was like, "You need a girl on for the females." I was like, "Hey, asshole! Like, listen to episode
Listen to the
32,
other
33,
episodes."
35. It's we try to only
And
have
Liz, I will say that I got so much feedback on our episode.
really
I was getting messages like left and right.
See,
About
It was
that's
good.
because
in a good way or a
it's
bad way.
In a good way. No, they loved it. They loved
Dynamic is great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we love it too. Like I think if we had our preference, we would have nothing but girls.
Yeah.
Just because we have 3 guys and
Yeah.
it's 4 guys, we're just gonna bro out and talk about sports. It's impossible for us,
Well,
you know.
We want it to be good content for everybody.
Yeah,
not
and
just
we- 'cause
girls
we
or
wanna
guys,
know-
You know what I'm saying? Like
We want to be able
everyone.
to ask y'all questions of like, hey,
Right.
you
The
know,
next one you guys should do should be with definitely Monica, so you can like talk there like with a
absolutely.
therapist.
I would love to have.
Maybe you should get some
Absolutely.
therapy.
That's
Both,
right.
all of y'all should get some
We all
therapy.
need therapy.
Man,
Oh my god.
I know I
We'll
need
get
some.
real.
I need. Hey, Monica,
Real.
can you hook me up with some Applins in?
I'm not a psychiatrist.
Um,
Hold on. What is happens in Whitey Night? How come I don't
it's
know
the
what
great.
happens in
It's
it?
the greatest. I told you guys about it. That's that
No.
pill that I took when I was in Orlando. It was like,
Oh, and you felt great.
oh, it was amazing.
All my bad feelings turned into good
It
ones.
was- yes.
Oh my god.
Oh, I felt I was on top
Sounds
of the world.
horrible. Sounds like heroin. Let's go.
Cheers.
Oh my god.
Cheers. Cheers to you
These
guys.
two are gonna get drunk and then just I don't know. We're gonna have a little party over there.
I mean, that's what we do.
That's what we do over here.
I'm like,
This,
so
this
are
is
we
why,
all drinking wine?
this is why
Except
For
Jess,
us,
for
we're
these
drinking
two wild
tequila, and
people.
Juan is.
this
Juan
is
will
why
be drinking
Jesse
vodka.
and I are still single.
Yeah, literally is.
So, how do you think that the coronavirus, which it seems like this is going to be a thing that is going to linger for a year, 2 years? I think things will change maybe forever, well, maybe in a good way, because I think that
Definitely.
hopefully this will make us less materialistic as a society because we'll realize that what we need is this, the essentials and relationships and friends and family. But from a dating perspective, do you think that this is going to make people kind of more cautious of who they interact with?
I think, and I've thought about this week a lot for some reason. I think that if anything, it'll make better relationships because we're all in this together, and it truly like forces you to talk to someone instead of like going to a bar and having like noise and potentially like not having like genuine conversation. Like right now, if I have like a virtual date with you, like we're gonna be forced to talk.
Mhm.
I mean, unless you want to do, I don't know. So I think, and everybody's in this
yeah, for
together,
sure.
like it's a very difficult time. Like in all honesty, like I might not have a job in like 2 months. So I found out
It's a
yesterday.
lot of people, though.
Wow.
A
I
lot of
know.
people.
So it's hard, and I think everybody's feeling affected by it in one way or another. So if anything, I just feel it'll be a lot more genuine and less like I don't know. The material shit doesn't matter at this point.
And less
Yeah.
random girls walking up and making out with you just because you say
Right.
nice dress.
Yeah.
That did
Right.
happen.
I've-
That did happen to me.
I've had.
We were at Off the Cuff, and a girl walked by and I go, "Hey, I like your dress," and she goes, "I like your face," and she kissed me. Which I was like, that was
Cool.
great. That was cool.
He loves
But
to
then I
tell that
thought,
story.
if that were to be switched, and I were to have done that to a girl, like I could be in a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I don't know where I'm going with this, but I
He
just
wants to tell that story. He
No,
wants to tell
Juan
everyone
told
I
that
it.
know.
story.
You
Juan
just
said
wanted
it.
to say it.
Juan mentioned it. He said it.
I
first.
did mention it. I put it out there.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, all right. So like, let's talk about that. So the
Well-
fact is that I told a girl she had a nice dress. She said she kissed me. She made the move,
I
which
saw
I
it.
had.
I was there. I
I
had
was.
the first.
I
yeah.
mean, we didn't
first
talk the rest
scene.
of the night, but I didn't mind it. I was like, that was really cool,
Yeah.
ballsy, whatever. Now, if it was switched, and you make, you tell a guy like, "Hey, nice jacket," and he goes, "Hey, I like your face," and he kisses you. Are you going to be offended? Are
You
you
get
gonna
arrested for that.
Yes, I mean that is the
Depends
thing. You
on
could.
if they like you or not.
I'm asking the girls, Jesse.
But I mean, he's kind of right. Like, if it's a hot guy and I'm like at a club and I just want to like have fun, it depends on the mood. I think that, and I also feel like the level of alcohol that I'm,
True.
that I've been consuming has a lot to do with it too. And I think that as women, we just tend to be more vulnerable, period. And that's where the lines get a little blurry. But again, I think that if I have already, like, if I'm giving you a compliment, whatever kind of compliment, it's because I'm attracted to you. And I'm probably just using that, like,
right, which
as an excuse to
and I will say,
absolutely, and that was, and I was using that, but if I guess the thing is with the whole Me Too movement, now it's a little bit like you can't just assume anything anymore. You know, you got to kind of be careful.
It's kind of scary a little bit.
Yeah, because I mean, what if you kiss and it's like whoa, and then things go crazy?
I will also say this because I was there and I saw it. She was with a group, right? Maybe 6 girls, all girls. And they were out. They were out and having fun. And then Brent kind of did the whole lean forward and touched her arm or something like that. Like you got her attention and then gave her the compliment. You did do that. Right?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. So then you singled
wow. So I could have. I still could be in.
Like,
I still could be in trouble here.
He's like, oh my god.
There's no way to not be in trouble.
Wait, you put your hands on
don't
her?
take it to the extreme. Just don't.
He got her attention, and then he gave her a compliment. So
yeah, just a friendly compliment.
In her
See,
mind,
Andrea, I'm not that much of an asshole.
No,
but are you okay with a woman consent?
I can tell that Jesse's a lot more sensitive than you.
Oh yeah,
but I'm not saying that you're an asshole.
Jesse is.
In fact, you might both be assholes. Like,
no.
I mean, but how would you guys feel if a woman was consenting with kissing you? Like, would you be okay with that?
What do you mean?
Like consenting, like asking you, "Can I kiss you?" Because that's probably what a man would do.
I don't
right?
want that.
Yeah,
I don't want to have her have to ask.
Don't ask me.
It throws everything off.
Well,
see, and that's I think that's the same thing as women.
If I'm super into you though, like if I'm super into this girl, and I would want things to happen organically for sure. And I would love to make the first move. Like I always make the first move. But if she does too, like if she just kissed me, I'd be like, fuck yeah. If she asked me and I really liked her, I don't think I would think that was cute. It would be like if there was kind of like we're feeling each other out and she asked. I don't know. I don't know why you guys have such a strong opinion. I think that's not bad.
Well, so the celibate girl.
Okay, yeah.
On the night of the Pride and Prejudice.
The Pride and Prejudice night.
The night.
Such a weird movie.
Can we give her a false name, like a name?
Yeah, Sarah.
No.
Well, she did have a false
already
name.
has one.
She already has one.
We can't give her that name.
We tried to get it away from that name.
Can we give her an initial?
Juan said we're not allowed to say that name anymore.
Let's say Whitney.
Whitney.
She doesn't look like a Whitney, but we'll go.
No, she's far from Whitney.
I was gonna go with Sarah.
No, not Sarah.
We can't do that name. We can't do that
Let's
name.
just not say that name.
Is that actually her name?
No, that's the name. That's the name of
ex-girlfriend.
maybe someone that made Jesse.
Whoa, she didn't do what? Okay. Anyways,
Okay, Whitney.
Whitney.
So Whitney, yeah. So this is like halfway into Pride and Prejudice. It's like this awkward.
I still can't believe she made you watch that. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
We're like awkwardly like laying in bed together, but clothed.
Booty by you.
Booty by. And so she goes, "Can I kiss you?" It was a very sweet, like, "Can I kiss you?" But the fact that she asked that, it threw everything off. And I think that was the moment when that happened.
So when she asked you that, like, how long have you guys been hanging out? Like a few weeks?
Probably like a month and a half. We probably hung out
Had
like
you-
7 or 8
Yeah,
times.
at that point I wouldn't ask. I'd just be like,
Right? So
your
it's kind of
face.
weird.
I'm gonna kiss you.
And you
Maybe
and
like
y'all,
a week or two, I would have asked, but
Yeah.
not
and
for
you
that
all
long
had
if we've been
kissed
hanging out.
before. Had you kissed before?
You guys have had to have kissed. Like
What?
the night that you met her.
Wait, you had
Wow, really?
What?
The night you met her,
That's
she
what
was
I'm
all
saying.
over you.
That's what she was all
so
over
if
me.
this
But
was like
she
the
would kiss.
first
So that,
time.
She would
so
kiss
that
my neck.
changes.
She would kiss
Okay,
my neck and
that
kiss
does
like
change.
my face, but would
What?
not.
Yeah, see, you
It's
need the
just
full details, right? When you get a story, you
Okay,
gotta
so
hear the
she
full
said-
details.
she
Jesse
said
hasn't even told Juan and I that.
I'm gonna tell you
Wait.
something, and I'm not saying that this is her situation, but if I am seeing a guy for over a month and a half, it doesn't matter how hurt I am. If I'm not kissing him, and if I'm not at
Showing
some
that
point
affection.
getting intimate, it's because I'm not interested.
Right.
Yeah. So then, what are you like? What are you doing? You're
So hold
Just
on.
hanging
You
out.
are
Not
wanting
interested.
company, but you don't want anything. Like you
Yeah.
want company, like you're
what a
almost taking
giant,
advantage.
what a,
of I've done
what a
it.
giant
When
waste of time.
when she
It is.
I've done
calls
it.
me,
I've taken advantage of a person
I have too.
because they were kind to me in a moment that I needed it.
but when she calls me and she
Ouch.
texts me,
Doesn't matter.
almost to the point where I'm like, she's calling me. I'm like,
Yeah. Well, I think that's also
Oh,
if
at the
a
point where
guy
I'm like
is
that.
oblivious and he's not making a move either, or if he makes a move and you're giving him the swerve, like hopefully he picks up on a hint, like, yo, this is.
Yeah, I mean, again, I've
been
done
friend
what
zoned.
I've done.
I've been
what she did to
quarantined in the
you.
friend zone.
Yeah.
Did what
It
she
wasn't a
did to
friend
you,
zone,
and
though.
even calling you, and like I called and texted because I was so in need of company and attention that I would go to extremes of like.
So
when
You were something to do when there was nothing to do.
Ooh.
Exactly.
So when you guys were doing that, though,
yes.
but
Drop
when you-
that knowledge, Melanie.
Hey, so here's my question.
I know, because
though.
I've been there. I've done that.
So when you guys were doing that, in those calls or those texts, were you flirting? Were you giving? Were you leading them on?
Probably.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I also
Glad I
think
saved my
like
money.
I also think like I
Are
don't know.
are those called fuck girls?
I mean, well, no. I mean, I don't
No, 'cause
know
they're not
people who
fucking.
would
No,
fuck.
because we didn't fuck.
Yeah.
I just let him wine and dine me.
Exactly.
Those
I
are
just
called
want
duck
someone
girls.
to take me out. And
Duck girls.
Just
I
ducking
want
them.
someone to like pick me up on a Friday night and take me to dinner and buy me wine. That's it.
Yeah, and text
Man,
me throughout the day,
I
tell me
think
how beautiful
later,
I am.
I think that's
whatever.
the. I think that's
But that's only
I think that's
after
the
a
equivalent
breakup.
to a fuckboy. That's the equivalent to a fuckboy.
I think so.
Yeah, it's the girl
It is.
equivalent
Yeah.
for sure.
But
girl-
I think
but
But
the
we're
women
more
do it-
emotional.
wait,
Like we need
exactly.
that from
We
men.
do it because we
More
have,
physical.
Like,
we need that too. So that's
You guys
that's
are more
what I'm
physical
saying.
and more
It's the-
emotional.
So
So
it's
we
a
need-
facto. Get the
I
fuck.
probably would have given that to him, but he never wanted to do that. So
Whoa. So then yours, that's a different case. So he wasn't trying to
no,
be physical. Well, that's
No.
on him then. That's on him. Yeah.
no.
That's not on
What was
you.
the
But like it was so weird because when he would try to kiss me, I would like back away.
Oh,
Ooh.
Oh well, then
yeah.
I don't get it.
Oh,
you just said
with
that he
the-
wasn't
hold
trying
on,
to do
so
that,
you're
but you
saying
would
he
back
does
away
the-
when
he
you're
does
trying to
the-
kiss.
I mean, I could use dick,
The
but not.
lead?
I don't need a kiss.
Oh, you should.
Wow.
You should have just told him that. You should have been like, listen, I don't, because the kiss is more intimate, right?
Intimate. Yeah.
It's-
I mean,
Yeah.
for us it is.
we talked about this last week. When
You
I
guys
told
just
you,
give kisses like you're kissing bandits.
uh, we prefer
Who you
we
talking
prefer to be
to?
called the wet
Calm
bandits.
you.
We're the wet bandits. That's a Home Alone
we're
reference.
not
I
the
don't
wet
know if you guys
bandits.
recognize that. All right. So in that case, then why didn't you tell him like, hey, listen, I'm not looking for anything like intimate. I'm not looking for a relationship or kisses, but I do need that dick.
Because at that point he had already another girl pregnant.
Whoa!
Another story of the details. I need the
Miss
details.
Lindsay.
Well, no, save it for our
After they
podcast.
did shit on me.
Yes,
Damn
yes.
Andrea's podcast. Say that for our podcast.
Yeah. I want to hear all about this. Holy shit. This is amazing.
Yeah.
All right. So what's the worst date? We know some of Andrea's. What's the worst date that Monica and Melanie have had?
Oh my god.
Yeah, you guys need to learn what not to do.
Do you want to go first, Andrea, or do you want me to go?
No, they know plenty of mine. They're
Okay, so I feel like I was such an idiot. So it was before I met my husband, and I was on Tinder, and I had this guy. I think he lived in Fort Worth, and at the time I was going to school in Denton.
Big mistake.
So I was in Denton, and he was like, yeah, I'll go and pick you up and everything. But when I pick you up, we have to leave my truck there because I only have my occupational license. And it was just so weird. He's like, so we have to use your car to drive to the date. And then I kid you not, when he showed up, he looked 15. And to this day, I don't know if he was 15 years old. You guys, I don't know. Because we went bowling, and it was just, and he didn't order alcohol. There was just a lot of, like, red flags. So that was my worst date. Because I really think that I went out with a 15-year-old. I'm not going to
Wow.
lie.
Like, I'm not.
Did you ask to see his ID?
I did not.
Well-
Did you ask how old he was?
No.
Well, his
I
mom.
was stupid.
Well, his mom being in the car. Was that not a giveaway?
Yeah. When you were like, hey, I'm gonna get a Miller Lite. What do you want? He's like a Capri Sun. You're like, they don't have that.
I don't know. To this day,
No,
I
no
feel
Capri
like
Suns. We're
When
not
he,
bringing
Yeah.
back
when he was doing TikToks during the date, that wasn't a giveaway.
Yeah.
I mean, this was 2015, so I don't
When
know.
he was
but I,
he was only communicating through Snapchat, but not sexual.
Oh,
Man,
my
that's
God.
crazy
I
though.
don't-
That's because how would you know? So that was
I
your
don't know, but
worst.
it,
Is it okay to ask
That-
for an ID?
I feel like you sometimes
guys
you
do it all the
should.
time. Guys do
Yeah.
it all the time. I need
No, that wasn't my worst. That was
Awkward
just kind of like a
question.
weird date. But my worst was when I went out with a guy, and I think he was really nervous, but I like to give the guy the benefit of the doubt. But he kept talking about his other date, like the other date that he just had last night.
Oh
And I'm
Oh.
so glad we.
Yeah, that's a terrible sign. If you're talking about your
No.
ex-girlfriend or the date that you had, unless we're talking about terrible dating stories, don't bring up your dates.
Yeah,
Right.
never.
Exactly. I think he was so nervous, but he was talking about his previous date. And then at that point I was like, all right, I gotta get the heck out of here. And I saw my friend, we were in a bar and my friend was there. So I was like, all right, you want to talk about this other girl? Come on. So I had my friend sit right next to us. Now, I don't know if that was the right thing to do, but I had her sit next to us, and he was like, well, I had a really good time at the end of the night. And I'm like, I don't want to continue seeing you. I was very honest with every guy that I dated. I would just say, I'm sorry, but I just don't think, there was a connection. Like, we worked out. You were talking a lot about this other girl. Like, it seems like you need to go call her. And so then he kept texting me and saying, like, no, please give me another chance. I was nervous. Da, da, da. And I'm like, I'm sorry, but I think that you really need to, that might be your soulmate. Like,
right. Or you need to get
So-
some
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
might be
you
your
need to get over that
soulmate.
shit.
Hey, listen, I've been nervous on auditions before, and guess what? I did not get the part. So, you
There
gotta
you go.
buck up. You gotta buck up and bring it.
yup.
Yes,
So
true.
that was, I feel like, the worst date.
And I do think that there's something to that. I think it was like not too long ago. I went out and hung out with a girl, and I was talking about someone else who clearly like I would rather be with, and it was good, but like we never hung out again. And yeah, because I was talking about somebody else, and that's clearly who I would rather be hanging out with.
Why do you feel like you like it? Why?
Well,
Why do you guys do that?
she was doing it too, though. I mean, she was like fresh out of a relationship,
So this
and it was
sounds
like
horrible.
a friend.
So y'all were both
it was
talking about your ex.
yeah, it was a friend.
Oh
Type thing, but
yeah,
it was
that
like-
sounds awful.
It
That's
wasn't. It wasn't a date.
terrible.
I didn't say it was a date. This was
Oh,
not a
okay,
date.
okay.
Oh,
Somebody
okay.
you saw your life with.
This was a platonic. Like we're having a drink and talking and seeing if maybe we want to go on a real date. And we were, so I just thought, I thought about it later. I was like, subconsciously, I was talking about somebody else. Clearly, like, I'm not really into this, right? And she was doing the same.
Yeah.
So,
But plot twist, we ended up going to a concert together with me and another date and him and his date. So we actually became friends. So
oh, wow.
Well, that's good.
yeah.
What an admirable
happy
story.
ending.
What a happy ending. Melanie,
It's a
let's
happy
hear
ending.
yours.
Mine, it was, so we saw each other on Tinder, but this was 6 years ago. We saw each other on Tinder, and he actually worked with me, and he sent me a message. He's like, don't you work in the office? And I was like, whatever company we worked at. And I was like, yeah, that's me. And so he sees me, obviously. I had never seen him. So he sent me a message through our work IM. So I'm like, okay, cool. He's like, let's go to happy hour. Cool. I'll meet you at happy hour. And it was at Chewy's. So we went to Chewy's,
Ooh, love me some Chewy's.
Nice.
right?
What's
So-
Chewy's? Is that a Texas
Cheap
thing?
marks. What?
No.
It's a
restaurant.
It's a chain. It's a restaurant chain.
Yeah.
So we go to
Spanish,
Chewy's. We
Mexican
see each
food.
other there. I'm like, nice to meet you. He had seen me. I had never seen him. Anyway, during the conversation, he says he lost his wallet.
Oh.
Oh my god! I had a
Wow.
guy that
Okay.
did that to me.
Wow.
Oh,
Maybe he
no.
lost his wallet. This shit happens.
You finish your story.
You don't
Finish your
fucking
story.
ask the girls for happy hour and you lost your fucking wallet. So
Well,
I don't
what if,
mind.
what if he lost it? What if he
No.
lost it between asking you?
Yeah.
No, then you cancel. Something
right now-
comes up and you cancel.
I will say this. I was out on a date. Well, it was a group date, and it literally fell out of my pocket.
It
Yeah.
happens.
But at the place, and I freaked the fuck out. I was like, "Whoa!"
But I think
no.
if you
I was
had
like,
if you had money, you'd be like, listen, I lost my wallet.
listen.
I'll literally
Let me Venmo you right now.
Yeah, but this was 6
No.
years ago, so Venmo wasn't around.
No.
You couldn't use Apple Pay, so this was
Still.
like
So we had to pay. I had to pay for my drinks, his drinks, and our dinner on me. Which I don't care paying for myself. I don't care paying for another person, but
but not on a date.
Okay.
not on a
That's what I
fucking first date. But that's not the only thing. So we had
Ooh.
a second date the next day.
Well, so
I
you
gave him
forgave
But
another
you
chance.
gave him a second
You gave him a second chance.
How
Yeah,
much?
but
I
How
did.
much was the bill, though? How much was the bill?
I want
Why?
to say like
Well,
65 bucks.
It was
Okay.
Chewy's.
It's at Chewy's.
It
It
was
couldn't be that
Chewy's.
much.
Yeah.
It's
like
Chewy's.
60
Well,
bucks or something
Chewy's
like
is
that.
the Mexican
Hold on.
Chili's.
You can
Yeah.
spend some money at Chewy's. Huh?
Okay. This baller getting bottle service at Chewy's. Hey,
No
let me
offer at
let me get a tray of chips and salsa and a couple of
For
bottles of
everyone.
tequila. For everyone.
For the
So the
hotel
next
bar.
day, he texts me. He's like, hey, do you want to go for a hike? sure, I'll go for a hike with you.
Where?
We're somewhere here in Frisco. We went on a trail walk.
In Frisco?
Yeah.
Okay, I think
Yeah,
I know
where-
the trail. Okay,
Okay,
I think I know
yeah.
that trail.
Yeah.
I know that trail that you're talking about. There's
We
only
went
one.
we went on a trail walk. But anyway, I show up and he doesn't have fucking shoes on.
What?
And my thing, like, I'm
No wallet, no shoes, no service.
What do you mean he doesn't have shoes on?
He had no fucking shoes on.
And
I was
Why?
like, I'm a hygiene person. Like,
How does feet look?
I didn't fucking look. Like, that was not my thing. But
But you
I
knew he
don't-
didn't
I'm
have
so
shoes on, so
super
you saw his
confused, like,
feet.
Zero, like nothing. Not even like those like.
he opened, like, we park and he opens his trunk and he's wearing sandals, flip-flops.
flip flop.
He throws the flip-flops in the back of his car.
Did he have
and I'm
frisbees
thinking-
in there?
And I'm thinking he's gonna be like wearing tennis shoes, whatever. No, he just
No,
closes
it's
it.
okay. It's okay. Oh, I just
So
I'm
he
one
went
with
hiking.
nature.
Where was he
barefoot?
from?
I'm one with
Where was
nature.
he
I like to play
from?
frisbee golf.
He's I guess from Texas. I don't know. I don't
No,
even think we got that far, but
He must
Probably from
He
Arlington.
must not be from around these.
He's from
parts.
Arlington for sure. I probably know him.
No, he's
1000%.
from Seattle. He's from Seattle. They don't wear shoes.
Yeah.
in Seattle.
Yeah.
Well, this sounds like a frisbee golf player. Definitely,
Ooh,
someone that that went to UNT, gets high, and plays frisbee golf.
Whoa! What do you got against?
is that what
UNT,
they
bro?
do?
What do you
Dude.
got against UNT?
What do you got
Nothing.
against frisbee golf?
What about
Wow.
frisbee
Right.
golf?
Started
Do you
Listen,
wear, will you
yeah,
not,
all-
will
that
you
is
not
all
wear
Great
shoes?
University, a
All
very
of my
prestigious
friends and
school.
family went to UNT. I have
Yes.
nothing against it, but a lot of people that went to UNT were like to smoke weed. And play
Yeah. Like, I mean,
I like doing both of those things.
Really?
wrong
Is
with
that
it?
a
I mean-
thing?
Yes, I like
Oh,
doing
yeah.
both of those things.
Yeah, it's a huge thing for sure. Like
Wow.
it's a big stoner thing
I know.
is smoking and playing frisbee golf and not wearing shoes. So maybe that was the case. So what
Well,
happened?
that
so,
was not
so,
a thing for me.
so he didn't have shoes on. So did you say this walk has been cut short, or
We
do
went
it?
for like 15, 20 minutes, and I was like, I gotta go.
Damn.
So I'm
Wow,
It was
mid
a
walk.
So
Saturday.
he went on the hike barefoot?
Yes. Mhm.
So
Maybe
you
he
turned
was
around and
trying
went
to
back
show
the other
that-
way. You didn't like go all the way through the trail. You like
No, I just acted like I had to go somewhere with my phone. I was like, oh, my mom
Ooh,
needs
the
me.
fake call. I
Mhm.
love the fake call.
Mhm.
Can we talk about the fake call for a
I-
second? Because that is
Sure.
the best way to get out.
Hold
of
on,
this.
before
Fake
we
call
get
or
into
fake
fake
text?
call, before we get into the fake call and fake text, I just want to ask. So the first dinner,
Oh,
first-
Jesse has to go. Fake
the
call.
first dinner that you had when he lost his wallet and you paid and you knew like that's something's weird, and then you gave him a second chance. Like even going into that when you're driving up, did you think like were you just like wishing it would be better, or were you knowing like I don't know what the fuck I'm doing here? Like
I
this-
don't know. I didn't know what I was doing, but also I had just got out of an 8-year relationship and I
Okay.
was looking for company.
Gotcha.
Great.
Okay.
Okay.
And so the no shoes just threw it so far off to where
Yeah.
you were just
I was like,
I
this is
can't
fucking
even.
disgusting.
So did you see him again at the office?
Yeah.
Did he have shoes on?
Yes, of course he had shoes on, and I never looked him in the eye ever again.
And then did you like say, hey guys, watch out going out with Walter, he might forget his wallet.
No, I was so embarrassed. I
And
didn't even
his
tell any
shoes.
of my coworkers I went on a date with him. I was like, this is fucking
Oh.
embarrassing.
For the Christmas party, I wish you would have got him shoes.
I would have.
Or a gift card to DSW or something.
Yeah.
Yes.
Shoes and a wallet.
I just,
Alright,
it was
alright, I
so
like
gross.
that.
You could have
So
you could have low key roasted this guy for like the
Yes.
next 3
Should
years of
have.
your
For a
job.
year. For a
You could have
year.
gotten him
You have
so
so much
bad.
roast material.
Oh my god! Like I wish I was your friend. Then I would have been like, "Yo, let's
Yo,
do this.
yes,
Let's do
yes,
this.
yes,
Let's do this."
guys, I have one more story. When you talked about the wallet thing, so this is another crazy date that I think was the last story that I wrote. So on dating apps, like people list their height. This
Oh, yeah.
particular guy did not list his height, but I didn't really. I think you and I talked about this, Monica. But I didn't really think much about it because in the pictures he looked fine from like the torso up, and a lot of his pictures were like at dinner. Like you could never see like really how tall he was. Long story short, I get to the restaurant.
Short. Long
And-
story short.
Long story
Literally.
short, yeah.
I'm not no
1000%, yeah.
1000%.
No guy over 6 foot is not going to list his height. He's going to be.
Well, I'm short. I'm 5'2", so anybody's taller than me. Most people are.
except for him.
Mhm.
Don't tell me he
Wow,
was
it's like
5'3", 5'4".
No, he was like 4'8". Like he
Shut
was,
the
like,
fuck up.
You went out with a dwarf? Well, good for
Yeah.
you.
No, you're not supposed to call them that.
No,
What do you mean them?
They're not a
They're little
dwarf.
people.
Little people.
That's worse.
No,
Little people.
That's the correct way to.
This
refer
is
to
like
them.
Jesse's thing when he says
the
you know,
gays.
Yes,
Because I love them and they are my friends and they love me.
Stop saying
Juan, we have to get him, man. We have to.
saying
so-
duh.
They
Just
love
say
me,
the.
and I love
Say
them.
He's driving our listener
saying
count
the.
down by saying
know.
both
There's
of
nothing
them.
wrong
Bye.
with it.
We'll
There's
cut this entire
everything
part
wrong with
out.
it. Stop saying the.
So why did
They are
you? So what did you
gay.
do when you
So
saw
I
him?
felt bad, and I was like, "Oh my god, what do I do?" Like, because clearly the guy had like an insecurity there, and that's why
For
he didn't.
sure,
But I do think that that's something that you should disclose. It's like, "Oh, I'm blind. Like, let me tell you."
absolutely. Or I'm in a wheelchair. Let me know that.
Yeah, like that's
Yes.
pretty important. And anyway, he shows up, and I had like one glass of wine, and I'm like, "Okay." He had like wine, and he ordered like some.
Gave him
appetizer.
like three more inches, right? The wine.
Yeah. Did he get drunk quick?
I
Because
was going to say he got drunk by
I
smelling the
mean-
wine, right?
yeah, he was like, I'm wasted. I haven't even taken a sip.
You said
I mean,
wine.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
he didn't stop talking about himself. It was all about him.
Wow, a short.
Please tell me you took a a selfie with him, please.
No, I didn't. I wish I did. I
mm.
might be able to find him though. But anyway, so when the check comes, he's like, "Oh, I don't have my wallet on me. Let me go to my
No.
Tesla."
You're
He
like,
had a Tesla. He's like, "Let me go to my Tesla and find my wallet." And I'm like,
of course he has an
How is
electric
he
car.
allowed to
'cause he-
drive?
well, because he can't. With a Tesla, you can be short. It drives itself.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true.
You have to see the steering wheel.
But
and
if
then
you
he comes back,
if you have a
he's like,
Tesla, you should know, like, and you're
"Bring
that
your
short.
fucking wallet."
If you're that short, you know if you don't have your wallet on you. I mean, there's not a
Mhm.
lot of places
I mean,
to feel.
exactly. You're right.
Mm.
Anyway, he
Damn.
didn't find his wallet, so I had to pay. And I waited for. I'm still waiting for
How
his
much?
Venmo.
How much was the bill?
It's such
How much was the
When
bill?
was
bullshit.
this?
Like,
30 bucks. It
have
wasn't
to
Still-
tell it before
Okay,
you
I
get
just
into
like
the
to know-
restaurant.
When was
So
this?
you're still waiting for the Venmo?
I'm still waiting for the Venmo. It's been like a year and a half.
I would literally request if you saw him on Venmo.
Yeah,
I
you
would
always,
request it.
always do the reminder.
Now I
thing.
know. Back in the day, I don't know. This was like a year
Yeah.
ago. So,
Hey, so speaking of disclosing things.
huh.
Every time you look at me, what?
No, this isn't bad.
Yes.
This was a long time
Jesus
ago.
Christ, Brent.
No, this is not about. This isn't about you.
I'm
This is
getting
about me.
nervous
Yes.
for you.
This isn't
Okay.
about you, Jesse. This is about me. So I met up with a girl from Tinder, and
Tinder.
you know we hung out, we hooked up.
Shout out, sponsor. I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
I
I
know.
wish.
For real.
I really
wish.
wanted them to
Tinder.
sponsor. I
I
wanted
would
them
love-
to sponsor my wedding. Like, why didn't they?
Man, they
I
should
reached
have.
out.
So we hung out, we hooked up, we hung out a few times. Well, so I think it was the first 2 times I never noticed this. The third time we hung out, I guess because she was really good about hiding it, and I don't know if this is something that you disclose or not, but she had like a really deformed like hand, like this little like weird. What's going on?
Juan, are you okay?
Okay,
What is
yeah,
that?
she had this weird like nub like hand,
A nub.
and
Hold on. What is a nub though?
it was
Is
like
so
it was
the
like
fingers
this.
are full.
Did she have
You
fingers
talking
or
like
no
Scream?
fingers?
You talking like Scream 2?
Was it like no? A scary.
No, it was like Scary Movie 2. Scary Movie 2.
Scary movie
Yes,
2,
yes.
yes.
Take my good hand.
Yeah, it was
Take
like
my
this
good
Does
hand.
little-
everybody remember the mashed potatoes? Like, that was the
Yeah.
most disgusting feed
It was like-
ever.
Yeah. But she did this great. And what I noticed when I finally noticed it, and she didn't know that I saw it, but then I noticed what she did, and she would like put her hand, like she would sit on her hand.
Whoa.
She would use her like good hand to like talk. And I was like, and I just was like, wait.
Wait,
I was like, hold on.
Sitting on her hand.
Yeah, to like
Her
hide
good
it.
hand.
That's what made her do that.
no.
good. Well,
And I was
shit on
like,
it.
and I just was like,
Whoa,
yo,
this
like
is
you
a great
can't,
story.
you can't do that. Like, you know, disclose that. Like, or you don't have to like put it out there on.
I
your
think
Tinder
that if
page.
there's something that's like obvious, like you're missing an arm, again, you're blind, you should say something.
if you have a weird
If you're missing
hand,
like a finger, I don't care.
yeah, that's
Which
that's,
finger?
One finger. Yeah, I was about to add, like, what?
I can't get married. Look, turns out I'm missing my ring fingers.
God.
Something else I want to disclose, and I was talking about this with a friend earlier, is disclosing gender on, and I know it's like transgendered.
Is that
Oh
your
yeah,
thing?
yeah.
Is that a thing for you guys when you're looking at like online dating? Like, do they
If-
disclose?
I would like to
that?
know if you
Yes.
have a vagina or not. Yes, I
Or
would like
used
to
to.
know.
So
And
if
that's
it's
what I'm
early on,
afraid of.
early
And now
on. I
that
think
all
that's
this
a good thing to do.
transgender stuff is coming up front, I'm always like, I don't know what to believe anymore. Sometimes because
Well,
I don't
here-
know whether or not people are gonna disclose that.
But here's the thing, like,
You're
now
gonna-
You're gonna figure it out. You're gonna get
Yeah.
down to it, and you're gonna, you know, and you'll be able to figure it out. I think.
Once
you
it
know.
gets to that point.
Yeah, you should be able to figure it out.
Yeah.
But I think that it
Mhm.
should be disclosed because
Right?
I don't want
Early
to.
on.
What if like we
Early on.
date for like 2 weeks or 3 weeks and I'm like, okay, I'm super excited.
Yeah.
It's finally gonna happen or whatever. And then it's like, oh, surprise, you have one like me. Like, oh, or whatever.
Well,
Especially like if you want a family, like that's my thing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I think that the dating apps are getting more progressive, where I think that there's at least 2019, I think they were starting to add stuff like that, right? Or hopefully at some point they do add that to where it's like, you can choose male, female, or transgender to where, and you can still be out there with everybody, but but if you want to be accepted by everyone, which I think that obviously they do, then you should have your own gender.
Right.
And we all know, because I think that's got to be crazy to get down to it, and then that's a whole other can of worms.
Well, speaking of disclosure, have you guys seen Dave, the Little Dicky TV show?
I haven't seen it yet.
Oh my gosh,
it's amazing. It's amazing.
It's amazing.
It's
so
amazing.
speaking of disclosure, I think this is true. Like Little Dicky, reason why he's called Little Dicky because he has a little Dicky because he has some deformities at birth, and they had to do some surgery to get things done, and so they had to take parts of his penis to do it anyway. But so he has a very small penis, and in the show, he was with his girlfriend for a long time, and he positioned himself where she never saw his penis because he was embarrassed by it. So if a guy has a really
reminds me of micropene.
If he has a really, really small penis, do you think that's something that he should let you know before happens? And hey, so
yeah,
you think so?
Yeah, so you so you're not you're not anticipating something better or bigger.
Oh. First of all, you said better first. You said better first.
When do you?
Wow.
When's a good time?
Yeah. When does he tell you that? By the way, I have a really, really small penis.
Should that go under height?
Maybe when you're already talking, I would think.
No.
I think once you
you've established like communication, like you have a conversation.
I think once you know what's about to happen.
Yeah.
After a couple dates, you're like, I'm feeling this guy, I'm feeling this girl. That should be.
Yeah.
So I want to know.
Hey, I'm ready to do this with you, but by
listen,
the way, I have a very tiny penis.
I feel the same way about girls though. I want to know if you have a very tiny vagina or a very large vagina.
No.
What?
What's the difference?
No.
What's the difference?
I don't know. I only know my vagina. I don't know anybody else's.
What is a large vagina?
So Brent, he always does this.
Edit this part out, please.
One time.
What is a large?
Says something.
It's the same. What is a tiny? You know what I mean? Like
Are you feeling attacked right now?
No. I just know that there are girls that have big vaginas.
That's all relative.
Big vaginas.
That's all relative, man.
And I don't.
Yeah.
I'm an opportunistic. I like them all. Like big, small. Vaginas.
Way back that thing up.
What I'm saying is to make sure that we're being
right
here.
Yeah. So what about? So I had a guy that I dated. I really liked guys, and then when things were gonna progress, he was like, I don't want to, and I didn't know why, and it was ED.
Wait, hasn't happened to me.
In there
you write down dysfunction.
He just could not.
He could not, and he said that's what broke up his previous relationship.
At all.
And,
ever.
Well, you're a therapist. You should have gotten his head and been like, "There's."
That was before. And it was just insane. So what would you? I want to have your opinion. If you had a guy friend who had this, what would you tell him? Like, what kind of advice would you give him?
I feel like they wouldn't even say it.
Seek help.
You need to get on something.
Just get Cialis or Viagra or something.
Help.
Do it.
Yeah,
Do it
go talk to someone.
Or get really good at oral.
No,
you still get.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta get oral. That's a given, though.
You gotta make the game time. There's still gonna be game time.
Yeah, you gotta make
You're
that.
gonna have to play the game.
Yeah,
you gotta make the dick work.
But
Baby.
sometimes guys don't know how to give good oral.
Yeah, that's true. Like guys, I will say that I have had very few guys that have been able to give me good oral sex.
Do you give them good tips?
What does that mean?
Do you want to get feedback after the session?
Okay.
Yeah.
Are we going right now?
Yeah.
I'm like my husband.
Coach
my husband. No, y'all. Really, you need to communicate. Like my husband.
You need to tell them what you want.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah.
But you also have to not get your feelings hurt when they tell you what they
want.
want.
I can't tell you in the moment. Like sometimes in the moment you can be like, oh, move it this way, or do this, but you can't be like, okay, let's pause for a second. I'm gonna give you some feedback right now.
Well, no, don't do that.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Don't do that.
But
if you
all about the delivery.
Don't hit a buzzer. Bang.
It's all about the delivery, baby.
Yeah, if you have a good good relationship where you guys communicate about everything, you should be able to communicate about that and be like, just like a guy be like, hey, less teeth, whenever you're.
Or no teeth.
Or here.
No teeth.
I mean, no teeth.
No.
By his head, grab him by his head and be like, right here.
I have done that, but still, it's it's not so much like the position. It's more about the tongue movement.
Yes.
Andrea, you know what I've done is send them YouTube links.
It's not like
really no. I think YouTube doesn't work. It has to be like in the session.
It does,
sorry.
but it's like
In
it's
practice.
giving them
But don't do it
giving them more
fast.
tips on what to do, because then they go down there and they don't know what the fuck they're doing.
They don't know. They
You
just like,
you gotta
Man,
coach,
I don't know
There's
what
gotta be
guys
a
you guys have
cunning
been
linguist.
dating.
Hey, so
I mean,
do
I've had some good ones, but then the majority of them aren't great.
you
I mean,
guys
yeah,
ever
I've
have
had like a shit ton, but it's not.
do you guys ever have like somebody that you've had like a phenomenal emotional connection with, and then the sex is terrible,
Yes.
and then vice versa, where you have this sexual like
So
just the
can it
chemistry is
overcome?
amazing, but then you're like, I just emotionally I'm like, I can't even they can't spell
Yep.
or whatever the
Yeah.
case. You know what I mean?
That
Yep.
was my last
Frustrating.
situationship.
Yep.
Cheers, cheers to that.
Cheers
Yeah,
to that.
yeah. No, that always sucks. Like I can just imagine, like, you know, feeling like 100% physical, and then it's like, oh, I'm sorry, bro, but you're just not smart. You're just
Yeah. Well, do you guys have a preference?
my husband. I don't know.
Well,
Okay, all right, so
not
all right,
that.
so
Like, and this is what always makes this tough when you're married and Juan's married,
Yeah.
but in the sense of like like you have to choose one. If you had
It
to
depends on the season that I'm in. So, like, if I was in grad school and I had just gotten out of a relationship, I really just wanted someone who really was good in bed.
right.
I mean, like I
But,
feel
all
like
right,
it's the season
let's
you're
put
in.
it put ourselves
What was
in
the
where we're
question?
at
In your
now.
life.
Like
Where
we're
you are
in
in your life.
adulthood. It's like because even great sex, after a while you're gonna be like wanting
Yeah,
other things.
okay.
But then the emotional part that you could have forever, which could be great. If you're not having great sex, you're gonna either just take it, just this is what it is forever, or you're gonna seek something else.
I don't think that you can just have the emotional thing forever just because physically, like, we all have wants and they do have to be met. Even like as a therapist, I would say that it's you have to meet your needs at somehow, even individuals with disabilities. So that's actually one of my specialties. Like, I work with people with disabilities and I work with people
ED?
who had traumatic brain injury, who had ED, it's crazy, right? Like how my life has really gotten me to work with other people who have had disabilities but also want to have a sex life. Like, what says that somebody who has a disability can't have a good sex life? I think it's a taboo topic to talk about. Like, I have a disability, I'm in a wheelchair and I can't have sex. No, you can have sex. And that's some of the things that we would talk with our clients about, how to have sex while being a wheelchair user, and being able to still meet them.
How do they do it?
So I have a
Is this like
It depends
Demolition
on the
Man? They
person.
put
A
a helmet
question on
on.
that.
They put a helmet on like in Demolition Man, and they
Edit.
as a therapist.
Edit.
Is that
Edit.
all in the head? Is that what's going on? So
literally,
you get,
literally,
no, I'm saying like
figuratively.
yeah, in the head. Is that all like? Is it like a mental thing where hey, you can prescribe this, but it's no?
It really is. I feel like so many people, sometimes it's a physical thing, right? Like, sometimes it's a physical thing where they
Like
actually
blood
cannot.
flow.
Paralysis.
Right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
paralysis.
Yeah.
Yes, like somebody who's quadriplegic,
Yeah.
like who's a quad and
Obviously,
is not able to,
Can't
but
feel
there are
it.
other ways that they can still feel pleasure.
But
You
I'm
know,
saying
like-
for a person who can walk, he has full access to his arms,
Yeah.
and he just can't. Is that in his head, or is that?
Oh, you're talking about erectile dysfunction, just regular. Yeah.
yeah.
It depends. It could be a physical thing. I mean, that person could be going through something physical,
Mhm.
and that's why they're not able to perform. Or it's something mental where they have
Stress
so much
causes that.
anxiety. Yeah, they've had so many
Mm.
bad experiences where their dick didn't work, and now they're like, I don't
It's
know.
in his head, 100%.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, because
You're in
I
your
have a
computer.
Or Indian food.
I have a brother who
Yeah,
he,
that is not
down
an
tonight.
aphrodisiac.
It
That is
shuts down
not
tonight.
an So, all right. So then you have to choose.
Right, Heidi?
You have to
Yeah.
choose. So a great emotional connection or great sex.
Oh, he's come
So
back.
with the emotional connection,
Look
you
at Juan.
have
Look at
terrible
Juan's
sex,
face. Juan
you have
is
terrible
judging me
sex,
so hard right
or
now.
you have
Brent.
great sex
Like,
and
shut
you
the
have
fuck
like
up.
terrible emotional.
You already asked this question.
Yeah, but they didn't answer.
Wait,
Melanie and
For
Andrea.
me,
Because
I
y'all
think for
didn't
me,
answer, Brett's
it's
gonna
more of
ask
an
it again.
emotional connection because I know I can get myself off.
Okay.
yeah, same.
Fair enough.
And if
Wow.
anything, I feel like the sexual part can also be coached.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
But if you couldn't have it at all,
But if like coaching wasn't an option,
Well, what if you had the like the guy that you thought had a micro penis? You can't coach that. You can't.
You
Can't
can't
teach height.
coach or micro
Yeah.
penis.
You can't
That
coach
is
him
a
to be a
fact.
sinner.
There's such
No.
things
The
as
point
sex
guard.
stores, sex
yeah, I
toys.
feel like that's like easier to get creative.
Oh,
with.
man.
Like, there's so
Hey,
many different
go-
avenues.
You take him to the store to go pick out the Go pick out
so,
the.
all right, so
the
y'all
one
are
you want to
saying,
use.
all right. So what you're saying is that if the emotional aspect is there so much, and that he's got a tiny whatever or something just isn't right, you would like, hey, I can do like a sex store. Let's go to the sex store. Let's pick out a few things and let's make it work because that is so much more important than the other.
I'm gonna ask. I'm gonna
If
ask
you
my
still
wife.
got hit these,
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask my
It'll
wife
work.
how she feels
Oh, the
about
wife's
micropenis.
here.
Ooh,
Hi, wife.
How do you
Hi.
feel about micro?
Hi.
Well,
What's up, Heidi? How you doing?
Hi.
How you feel about micro penises? Could you date it? Could you date a guy with micro penis?
If the emotional aspect was there so much that you were like, you know what, he's got a tiny dick, but we're so much there on so many other aspects.
She's like,
Yikes!
No, can't do it.
I mean, if the sex was good, I could.
How can it be good if he has a micro penis?
Yeah.
Fucking no.
But what if he could go like?
but it's all.
Was bad. Let's forget like sex was bad or whatever. Well,
No,
no,
I mean, I could never. Sex is very important to me, so I could never be with
Same.
somebody who is. I mean, if we were, it's
Look at
That
Juan's
word
face.
just like
While
it,
she
it, like,
says
it
that,
got good, right?
Juan is so
It just
proud and
got.
smiling. He's like, yeah, hey, from the horse's mouth. What's up?
but you know, I've been with people that have not been
Juan's
good
like-
with their
Juan's just
penis,
trying to
but they've
stunt
been
right now.
better with their mouth and their hands.
yeah, for sure.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Juan's over here trying to show us his
I
jumper.
think ultimately, like that's the emotional part is what's gonna last the most. And
Right.
yeah,
Yes.
definitely.
I'm a very sexual
I feel
person
like
too, but
sex can
and
get
I
better.
need it, and I'm gonna need to get off like
Right.
quite a bit.
right.
But
Juan's
I
face
will-
was everything. Juan's
Yeah.
face was everything. He was like,
He was about to like light up a cigar real quick and just like,
oh,
Yeah.
he's like,
And then Heidi was like, "No smoking, no smoking." Not in the house, not in the house, not in the house. Listen, we all know. All right, so then that answers that, I
all
guess.
right, wow.
Well, the micro penis wasn't it was about good sex versus good emotional connection. The
Okay.
micro penis is out. Like we all know that's.
But
that's
what's important to you guys?
That's a good question.
I mean, sex
So-
can, to me, sex can get better, but
So I
yeah,
think
like
to-
again, like you can work
for-
through it.
for me, like I've had a handful of girls that like the sexual the connection was instant, like holy shit, like it's crazy. But I think the emotional connection was always interesting. I would take probably an emotional connection over because I'm a guy, so I'm like just don't suck in bed and it's gonna be good.
Or do suck.
Or I don't know. Yes, do suck. Do suck, but just don't do suck in bed, but just don't suck at sucking in bed. Juan took it there and I just had to keep going.
Don't use your teeth.
Yeah, no teeth.
Don't use your teeth.
No, I would say the emotional connection would probably be higher because I'm a guy, so I'm like, how bad can the sex really be?
Exactly. It's like pizza.
Yeah.
You can't have a pizza. Can't be that bad.
You
It's
can give me a
pizza.
Tostino's and I'm good. I'm like,
It's-
that's
yeah, it's
great.
still pizza.
I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm in all day.
Yeah.
I don't believe that.
no, you
Have
should.
you ever had
And don't say that
Costa
and then be a
Rica?
guy that cheats.
Costa Rican pizza? so-
Exactly. That's exactly.
You're
my
not cheating
point.
because of no.
Bad.
That's not. Well, guys don't cheat because of a pizza.
Yes,
It's
they
just
do.
more pizza. It's just more pizza. That's all. They just want multiple. They want
Oh,
Domino's.
okay.
They want
Don't
Papa
get me-
Hey,
John's.
listen,
They
I'll
want
tell
Pizza
you.
Hut.
I'll tell you when guys
Date.
cheat. Guys cheat when the emotional connection is broken.
Gotcha. And that's key.
And the broken piece doesn't mean it had to come from you guys. That it could have been
Right.
broken on their part.
I
But
don't
when
think
the
that's
emotional connection is
just
broken,
The guys, that's the guys.
Yeah, when the
So
emotional.
Yeah.
So I need to ask you something because I had someone on my podcast and we talked about how her husband cheated, and so we talked about at the very end about what if her husband had told her before he committed the cheating that, hey babe, I've been thinking this. How would
Ooh.
you guys respond to your significant other saying like, hey, I've been having these thoughts?
I would be like, well, like, what the fuck am I not doing? What am I not
Right.
doing that's not fulfilling your need?
But
How
what
do
if it's not you?
What?
So,
What do you mean?
what do you mean?
Tell me more. What does that mean?
What does that mean?
What if it's them, right? Like they're feeling some sort of way.
So it's like the chick that Will Ferrell is that Luke Wilson is with in Old School. She's just a freak and she needs to like have multiple people blindfolded and
No, maybe she's just having like, I just don't feel the connection. It's not you. I just don't feel the connection.
So we breaking up? I mean, is she breaking
I
up with
guess.
us? Like, I mean, it
guess.
sounds like a breakup.
There's got to
You're
be
married.
an emotional connection.
Oh, you're
Sounds like a
married.
divorce.
Sounds like a divorce. Yeah. I think if the connection's look, if the connection's gone, like I don't know what you do. Like otherwise, you're just sitting and spinning forever with this.
How do you guys feel about like couples therapy at that point?
I was just gonna say that. Like when there's a disconnect, are you willing to work on that?
Yes, I would be, but I think that so I think that you can get it back, but I think if there's like a disconnect, there's a reason why there's a disconnect, and like
There is, but that's
you're gonna
why
have
there's
to
therapy.
go. You're gonna have to go deep into that reason.
Exactly.
And what you're gonna find is probably that it is going to divide you guys.
But are you willing to
Probably
work
not.
on that so you aren't divided?
I mean, I would be if I loved her, yeah, for sure. But I'm just saying that, like, I don't know.
See,
It
and
sounds like-
that's the problem that I have with like men who are not wanting to commit, because once there's an issue, they just want to give up
Mhm.
without working on it.
I think
And you're already assuming that therapy is going to divide you when it could
Exactly.
be that there
No.
might be something that was broken and it broke, I don't know, a year ago or 2 years ago and nobody repaired it. Maybe there was like some sort of trust issue there. Who knows? Like it can just like uncover stuff that probably you didn't know or your partner didn't know. That
So
could
I'll give you guys an
heal.
example. I was engaged like 6 years ago, and it was terrible. It was great in the beginning. Obviously, I wouldn't have got engaged, but it was terrible. And she would like tell me like that it was like if I got therapy, that's one thing. I was like, well, let's get therapy together, and she didn't want to do that. And I was like, I know why, because
That's
your
fair.
deep rooted issues are gonna fucking come out, and you're gonna be exposed to what you really want. Which is not me, it's girls or whatever. Which it was girls.
Wait, oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, she's
Yeah,
married
she
now
likes
to
girls.
another guy with more kids, but like I guarantee you that they're not like
she
she
likes
likes girls. And so
Mm.
but I think that she never wanted to do that. And so
Mhm.
I think if you got to compromise, right? I'm down for the therapy, but like you got to both want to do it.
Right.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Yep.
absolutely.
Because if you don't want to do it, like you've got some shit.
But I have met men that are completely opposed to therapy, like any kind of therapy,
Mhm.
period, let alone couples therapy. Like
Well,
that's-
Juan said that on our podcast that we just did last week, that all men need therapy because we
Agreed.
don't want to have therapy because
Mhm.
we don't want to be told that
Oh yeah. So what if you go on a date with someone and they say that they're in therapy?
I'd be
Like
fine
flat
with that.
out, they're
Good.
honest.
Good.
I would.
That'd be
That's
great.
fine.
I would be like, hey, good for you.
Not a bad.
That
I would
means
never-
you're
I would
striving to
never
be a
think-
better version of yourself.
yeah, I would never think that there's a problem with you. I would say, well, at least you're somebody that knows that you want to find the solution to the problem.
So what did they say if they have a mental health diagnosis?
Good
Well,
one,
I would say,
Yeah.
I would say, what is that first?
I would say
So-
I would say I forgot my wallet.
yeah. I would say I'm 4 for 8. Sorry, I gotta go. Oh.
And see,
I-
that's a problem that I have.
I would want to know.
too.
I would
Yeah,
want to
there's
know what
so
it
much
is.
stigma. So like I'll say like bipolar disorder.
Mm.
Well, I would just be like, well, then you're just a woman. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Totally kidding. I would want to know like what.
Watch
Jesse,
out
this
what
way
you're
edit.
He is
saying, yeah.
not
Edit.
kidding.
Watch what you're
Exit that
saying.
one.
And
No,
it-
what I would want to know what has happened. Like I would want to know like.
No, like let's just
Backpedaling.
say, I mean, I feel like so somebody who understands like their diagnosis, they'd be like, hey, so I just want to like flat out say I am in therapy. I've been diagnosed with bipolar, but like I'm working on it, taking medication. I just really wanted you to know.
Mm.
Is that too much to say in the
I
first
think
date?
that it's
Yeah,
someone
that's
who
a
really
lot.
It's a
can
lot
Okay,
on the first
so on the
date.
first date,
Mm.
I feel like that's a second date. I think on the first date
That's a
needs to.
I
the
think that we need to
the
like
first-
remove the rules about like what you say on a first date, what you say on the second. I think there has to be a level of transparency from the very beginning, especially as we get older. I don't think that you have to disclose every single thing, but I feel
Yeah.
like things that are super important, like I'm blind or I'm bipolar and I'm in
Right.
therapy
Or
and I'm
having
taking medication.
micropenis.
Like,
That's the
that's
thing. Like
so important. Like it is an important thing to like because some people might not know how to navigate it and how to like handle it. So I want to know now because I have to deal with it. It's something that I work through. I mean, I don't have that, but I'm saying like
yeah.
as a person.
I
I
think
have to navigate through it on a daily basis. I want to make sure that whoever I'm giving my time to is also willing to be understanding and thoughtful
Right.
of that.
I think after you rock my world in bed and my toes curl, at that moment, tell me you're bipolar. That's when you want to tell me.
That's it. I
That's
reeled
when
you
you're
in.
receptive. That's
So
when you're
I
receptive
have to like
everything.
give it up before I like tell you who I really am.
Bipolar, I think that's something that we need to make sure that we're going down the same path. That's really deep. That's some really deep.
That is
But
deep.
why though? But
That's
why
That's
though?
the thing.
It's not
That's
even
the-
be.
why.
You just have to
That's deep. That's a lot
understand
of
it.
work.
It's
It's
the
being
thing.
understanding.
It's the thing. It's the thing. People don't understand bipolar. I think people have seen bipolar in the media of it's like, okay,
Burn
you're
down
hot
a
and
house.
cold.
Going
Yeah,
crazy.
but like Demi Lovato, she has a
Would
full
date her,
out
yes.
okay, and she has bipolar.
I'm in.
Okay.
No,
So
I
there's
wouldn't be opposed to it, but I would just want to know, like, if you're somebody, like, when it comes to a medical issue like that, especially to your mental health, if you're not taking every precaution and you're like, if you're not trying to, like, you're not going to therapy, you're not taking your medicine, that's going to be an issue. Like,
Right. I think that's like
Yes.
doing
Keep
the
it
right
under-
things, and
yeah.
you've been like able to handle it for the past 10 years,
sure.
20 years. Like, cool.
Yeah.
For
I
you.
would be open. I'm not going to be opposed to it if you're doing but if you're like bipolar and you do nothing about it, you just are bipolar.
yeah.
You don't take medicine. You don't go to
Yeah.
therapy. That is where I'd be like, not at
And
all.
it's
Or
ruining
it's
your
like they just
relationship.
never tell you,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden, like a month in, and you're
Right.
super invested. It's like, oh, by the way, it's like, oh no, that's not an.
No,
oh,
that's
by
not a by the
pretty
way.
big
That's
deal.
not a by the way thing.
Right.
There's not a
Yeah.
by the way. I'm bipolar.
No.
Yeah.
That should be a new by way of Dallas jacket. By the way. By the
By the way.
by the way, by
bipolar.
yeah. But no, that's something you should disclose. And like, I think with anything, if you're like if you're working on yourself and you're trying to be the best version, and everyone has their faults, but you're working on it. I would see past all of that. I'd be like, cool, like, you're working on it. You're trying to find the solution to the problem. That's what we should be doing as a society.
Exactly.
Yes, let's
Agreed.
put that on a t-shirt.
Yes.
I will.
Therapy for everyone.
I know.
COVID-19.
I'll date you even if you're bipolar. Okay.
as long, and then
Those are our
the fine,
first T-shirts we're coming out with.
the fine print will
Yes.
say, as long as you're going to
Always,
therapy and you're
always.
taking your pills.
As long as you're going to therapy. Oh my God, yes.
So, okay, I was diagnosed with depression a few years ago, and I was dating someone at the time, and he was very supportive. And every morning he'd be like, okay, here's your pills. Like, would you be that type of person that be that supportive? Be like, okay, here's your pills, here's your breakfast, here's your stuff. Like, to be sure
Absolutely.
that they're
If
okay.
if I really
Absolutely.
love someone and I care about them, absolutely, 100%.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I
Please
care
take
about
your
I care about your
Yeah.
well-being. Like, I want
so,
you to
so wait,
do your best.
yes. So Melanie, what happened to that guy?
That was my relationship I left in San Antonio.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what
He was very
happened? I don't-
supportive in that aspect. Even when we broke up, he was like, are you taking your medication? Are you
I would
okay?"
appreciate it, but I
sweet.
wouldn't expect it from the other person. You know what I mean?
No,
But
I
would
wouldn't expect
appreciate
it
for
either.
sure.
I didn't expect it from him, but I think he was just so supportive because he knew where my headspace was at, and he was like, "Okay, here's your,
Yeah.
here's your
So
Yeah.
pills, here's your
what
breakfast,
happened?
here's."
What happened?
What do you mean? What happened?
Yeah, you're not.
Well,
So
what
what
Why did you
happened?
leave him? Why'd you
Yeah.
leave him in
He
San
seemed-
Antonio?
You have to go. You
he
have to
seems
go
like a
listen
s-
to our last episode with
With
Andrea.
the plug?
Oh
With the
yes,
plug?
it's there. It
I
was
want to
not good.
know. I want to know. I don't want to
Micropenis?
listen.
You got to go listen to it. It's
I don't
a,
want
it's
to
a long
listen.
story.
Micro
I mean,
penis?
I left, so
Mhm.
no, he didn't
It
have
wasn't
micro
micro
penis. That was one thing we didn't have a problem with.
It was
Oh, he was-
micro other stuff.
he was
So,
good.
so,
He was
so
good.
Melanie,
I'm good.
Melanie, would you say that he's the one that got away?
Yes.
Ooh.
Oh, okay.
Now we're getting somewhere.
Hey.
And
you
I
know what?
have no, and I said in that episode that was my fault. That relationship ended because of me.
We all have those though.
Yep.
We all have
Yeah.
we all have
Yeah,
we all have
do.
relationships that ended because of us, and then we all have ones that ended because of the other person, for sure.
Yeah.
And
definitely.
I had a one that got away it was like that for a long time, and then
Jesse
now
just
You see
No,
Jesse?
no,
You see
him-
Jesse's position?
No, because I know.
So she was like, "Is it me?"
it was
Here, I'm
the I don't want to say her name, from LA, or she was from here, but she moved to
Oh.
LA.
So I met Brent when
I moved back from
I
LA.
met-
Yeah.
So he had gotten his ass kicked and apparently his heart broken. I could tell.
I didn't get my heart broken. I
Yes,
left
you
her.
did.
I left
yes,
her.
you did. Because he. But
come on,
Anyways.
man. Like,
Why did you leave
Share
her?
your
Because she was
feelings.
moving.
let's
I
hear
was
the
moving
story,
back,
actually.
and
You know what? I've
she-
never really
so
heard
the
the
guy
story.
that she- the
this
guy-
will hold on. This would be a great time for me to first hear the story because
Okay.
he's never
Well-
said anything. I've known him for so long.
Yes.
I was
For 10
young.
plus years,
Looks
I've
like
never-
this is gonna be a
Let's hear the
two-part
story.
episode, by the way. So
I know, right?
oh yeah,
I
we're
was-
like at an hour and a half at this
Yeah.
point.
Oh,
I
wow.
like
Just
it.
fine.
I like
This
it.
is good. I just
I wanna
finished a
hear
bottle
because
of
this-
wine. So
I'm
This
not
chick-
in a rush. I
this
mean,
chick-
where am I gonna go?
I'm empty.
This chick
As,
broke.
as long
We're
as
gonna
as long
refill.
as long as Heidi is cool with Juan continuing, let's continue.
Yeah.
But here's what
But
happened.
she's good.
So I
She can join.
She can
um,
totally
Well, she's doing stuff right now. She's cleaning the house. Well, no, y'all gotta take it like that. No, I mean she's doing stuff right now. I'm gonna be cooking later.
I was like, wow.
I'm gonna be cooking later, so she's just kind of clearing the runway.
I'll get you another drink.
Thanks, darling.
I'm sorry.
Aw, how sweet.
Heidi, you're amazing. Heidi, you're
Fill
amazing.
my drink,
No one loves
bitch.
you.
Fill my
Where's my
drink.
drink? I'm just kidding.
I know.
You're like,
Who's gonna
Cody,
reach
you're
out
like,
the bottle?
Let's me another drink, bitch.
Sawyer.
The celebration.
I'm Charlie Murphy.
Hey, and I only like love to give him a hard time because I love him so much. He's been a good friend for a long time, and I've known that this is a very important story.
Yeah, for sure.
And
Please
I've
tell
never
it.
heard this
We're
story.
here for you.
Share it. Share
It's a good
share
story. It's a good
Cheers.
story.
I don't have anything but cheers.
Cheers.
I'm here for crisis. So
Oh, so it's not a crisis. So, and we're actually really good friends today. And anytime I go back to LA, I try to see her if I can. So we were dating here in Dallas. I moved to LA when I was like 23. So I moved to LA in 2009, and I was dating her like 2008. We were, in love and whatnot. And then it was just kind of one of those things where I don't know what it was, but like she was great. She was beautiful. Like we had good sex, like this and that. I was young though. I was like 22. Like
Yeah,
what the fuck?
you're young.
I didn't
You're
know
young,
shit.
22.
I knew I wanted to go to LA, and so I went to LA. She moved out there for me a couple of months into it. We lived together, but there was always something missing, whatever that was. And I was gonna move back, and she was gonna move with me. Although I was trying to like drop hints that like I didn't want to move back to just still be. So she stayed. She ended up, the guy she ended up starting seeing before I even moved back, she's now still married to today, which is great. And so the thing was, and it was like always like the girl that got away. And it was only because of like, she was just the emotional connection. She was great. But I noticed this in my last relationship with someone that you guys know, Jesse and Juan, who was equally as great.
Okay.
But it was the same exact thing. Like, great, would do anything I ever wanted, like just just awesome. But the one thing that both of them lacked was they wouldn't challenge me. They wouldn't like call me on my shit. Or the last girl I dated would do that a little bit more, but they weren't enough of a challenge. And that's when I realized like that's what I need. And I started realizing that like before this last one, but after, they were so similar, and I was like, that's it. Because I'm like, why am I not with this person?
Yeah, because you're really
the sex is great,
competitive,
and
with the sports, and
we get along and we can hang out. But like, what was missing? It was the challenge.
So what does that mean to you, though?
Yeah, what does that
being
mean?
challenged, like
being
being
challenged.
challenged.
I mean, I like a challenge too, but I want to see if it's like
So
a line.
Yeah.
For me, I don't mean a challenge in a sense of, so like the girl I was engaged to, the challenge was like getting her to be like, to want me like I wanted her. And that was the wrong challenge. What I mean when I say a challenge is like a girl that makes me want to be the best version of me, that makes that like, if I say I want to make a movie, right? She's like, hey, how's that movie coming? Or like helping me.
Pushes
with, like,
you.
Yeah, pushing me, right? Just
And
in a
supports
good
you,
way.
too.
Yeah.
Right. Supporting you, like you can still support someone and challenge them. You can support them
100%.
and you could like, recently I asked a girl like, hey, she told me she writes in a diary, and she's like, I don't know what I really want to do other than work. And I was like, well, has anyone ever asked you? And she's like, no. And I was like, well, start thinking about things like that. You know what I mean? Like girls asking me that. And it was kind of just like, oh, everything you do is great. Not everything I do is great. Like fucking call me on shit or
No one's
challenge
perfect.
me.
I mean, I'm perfect, but
not all the time to where it's like you're nagging, but it's like when you have a best friend, your best friend isn't the person that always says yes to everything, or when you tell them a story, they go, oh yes, you're right. No,
They give you the truth even though you don't want to hear it.
Exactly. They tell you,
or if it'll hurt your feelings, they're going to tell you either way. Yeah.
Because it's real love,
Right.
And so it took the first one where it was like the girl that got away, then the last one, which seemingly could have felt the same, right, Jesse? We've talked about that, but I noticed both trends were very similar, and it was missing the challenging aspect of someone that would just push you to be more. And I think that I would hope that girls want the same thing.
Yeah, sometimes the women that are the most challenging are the most successful too, and the most independent. And it's kind of going back to what we were all talking about last time, is at times the people that will challenge you the most will probably, not all the time, but sometimes probably be more successful than you. Or, have a little bit of an upper hand, like maybe not more money, but just like, I don't know. I feel like women nowadays, because we've become like so independent and so successful, like we will challenge you because we want you to like get on our level in a way. I don't know if I'm making any sense,
No,
but
that makes sense.
No.
That
Yeah,
makes
that was the
sense.
thing. That was the thing. I mean, even when I was so independent that when I got married and we like combined our finances, I felt a certain way with that. Like I was just like, and I actually listened to your episode. I think it was was it Melanie and you and Liz, where you talked about. I literally was screaming when you guys were recording this because some of the things I agreed and some of the things I did not agree as far as like not putting your finances together. So for me, there was a big fear because I've had relationships before where I'm like, they fucked me over. I'm not going to put my money together with them. But my husband has 100%, like I trust him and he's never made me feel like it's not our money. You know what I mean? But for a long time, I could not see it that way. I always saw it's your money and my money, not our money.
I think what I said last time was I'm okay with like putting like 60-70% of my income combined, but I want to keep something for myself.
Agreed.
Because I want to be able to like go get my nails done or go do whatever I want and not have to like report to my husband.
Yeah.
By the way, I took $30 for my nails. Like that's me.
Right.
Now,
so
like,
we don't do that. Yeah.
I don't know. That's just me. Like I can't. I want to be able to spend. I want to have still a little bit of freedom. I'm not saying that wouldn't be freedom, but it's
absolutely. And that was the conversation we had. Like I even told him like at any point when you ask me why did you spend money on this, I will feel hurt. And that because that's my own insecurity also, though I have to realize that that's my own insecurity.
And I also think
like,
that when it's joint, 100% joint, then those questions are off. Like they can't. Like,
I don't like the why. Why did you spend this much? It's like you're not my dad to be telling me how much money I could be spending. I work just as hard as you do, and you don't tell me why I can spend $40 to go get waxed or whatever. Like you don't get to tell me that.
It's expensive.
I would say it was only $40.
I'm cool with that. Hey,
well
I think wording plays a factor too because there might be some.
You're the married. I mean, you and Monica are married.
Because wording can play a factor. Because sometimes it might be like you're trying to see like, okay, where's our money going every month? And it's like, okay, this $40, like where did this go? You heard it as, why are you spending it? No, sometimes he might be saying, okay, was this necessary? All you have to do is say yes. And he's like, okay.
Juan, and that was something that I had to learn, like the language, because for a long time I thought it was like.
Look, you enjoyed this last night, right?
And me being an emotional person, the way you react to what I'm saying puts me down.
Yeah.
And so that's why you have to be careful with how you word things, because when he said that, I was like, wow, okay, like I spent $40. Maybe we didn't have $40. And I'm thinking like, I don't know. I'm just dumbfounded about the whole situation.
Well, Juan's mentioned that several times recently on our podcast about like how sometimes as men, the way that we word things or the way that we say things,
always the worst way.
It and the way that it's interpreted, it's like we're
right.
FM and AM, right?
Yep.
It's two different wavelengths.
Yeah.
What we're really saying is one thing, what you're hearing is another, and we're trying to speak the same language, but we're not, you know.
Especially if you're already, like you said, you already kind of have some internal feelings about it.
Right.
And then when I say it, you're like, oh, you're questioning me on what I spend. It's like, no. I'm asking a question. I'm not questioning you. I'm asking a question because I'm just kind of breaking it down. Just like if you turn around and go $180, you know, you say, you know, what was this for? And it's like, well, I got some new, Jordans or something. You know what I mean? So it's
that's when I think that it's like that can get difficult and it can get nasty and gross. Yeah. And that's why you have to keep a little bit of your income for yourself for those Jordans, for the nails,
absolutely,
whatever. And that way you don't ever have to even worry about it. The rest, like whatever, like trips.
Well, if you can,
this gets my blood pressure up. I wish I had more wine.
I would love to send you a bottle of wine.
They're not real.
I got a bottle for you.
Brought to you by Thrifty.
I have a lot of wine. Come over.
Most companies will do. You can do like a direct deposit, and you can do like 75% to one checking account, 25 to another. You have a good relationship. Obviously, you say like, "Hey, I'm putting 75% to our joint account every month."
But would you do that before marriage or after?
Engagement is the time. Like once I'm engaged, like at that point, I'll start planning.
Yeah.
Like I think at that point
This is a conversation that should be hashed out. Like this should not be
Yeah,
a thing that comes as
exactly.
a surprise. It should be hashed out, and regardless of who's the breadwinner or not, it should be hashed out. And regardless of if the guy is and whatever, but like those kind of conversations, because the last thing you want, and this is what kills a lot of relationships, is finances, which is which sucks, but it's a conversation. Just hash it out, communicate, and if the other person doesn't respect,
I'm not against prenups. I think that prenups is like a very difficult conversation, and if you're able to have a conversation with your partner about it and not worry, just like, hey,
and the thing is,
I think it's fine.
Yeah, and I feel like prenups, people think it's very taboo and very like negative, like we're both trying to hide something or trying to feel like it's a fear mindset, but it's really not. Like we're both trying to protect each other from, like we both have businesses, like we're both bringing money into the table. Like a prenup may be something that works for us, you know what I mean? Like me and my husband, we tried everything. We tried 50-50, we've tried 60-40. Like at some point it just didn't work. I still felt, and also I had a very scarcity mentality when it came to finances, because that's how I grew up. So seeing how you grow up and the mentality that you have with your finances and how your family has brought you up with your finances really tells a story about who's going to be in your relationship.
Yeah,
it's true.
It's
like a whole other
lesson
to learn when you're in that relationship, because you both grew up differently. And I'll be honest, that's the reason why we broke up, in my last relationship. So
is everybody everybody's agreeing to sign the prenup? Will everybody on this podcast sign a prenup?
I would.
I'm not opposed to it at all.
Hey,
I think that if you have a strong enough conversation,
absolutely.
I think if you're like capable to, like, if you love each other enough and you want this to work, that's the most important conversation to have. Like, hey, if something ever did happen,
and the thing is, a prenup, and a prenup does not mean that I do not love you.
Right.
Exactly. It's just like, hey, if things happen, we're human beings, we change, we evolve. Like, you never know what can happen 10 years. Obviously, you don't want it to happen, but it's a possibility. Like, let's be real. 50% of the people in this country get divorced. So
yeah, I would say, like, hey, listen, I know you make more money than me. Let's do a prenup. This is for you. I'm being the bigger guy here.
Yeah, but then I'll be like, you're not taking any of my money, bitch.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, for sure.
So could you get married to someone who did only straight up regular sex?
What is regular sex?
Missionary?
Straight
missionary?
up only missionary.
God, no.
Every time.
No.
And they wouldn't be willing to try anything else?
No.
Absolutely not.
No.
No way. Nobody. Who does that? Are you talking about like a white couple from the 50s?
Yeah.
Two separate beds.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
They're just trying to procreate.
Like,
That's it.
The Leonardo DiCaprio's parents in Catch Me If You Can?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, no.
No,
Uh-uh.
absolutely not.
Okay. What if
I'm
they
always
were
down to
rich? What
experiment.
if they were really rich? How rich would you have?
So
to
it wouldn't matter about how rich she is. If she was super hot, like super hot, but the missionary would have to be super hot though.
Yes,
it would have to be super hot. It couldn't, because if it was just like,
it could only get so hot.
If it's just like, well, I don't know. I've had some missionary where it gets weird. Yeah.
Yeah, let's not diss on missionary. Like, I mean,
there's nothing wrong with it.
Missionary is great,
Hey,
but I don't want it to be just missionary.
I've gotten to the point now.
No.
I've gotten to the point in my life now where like sometimes I'm like, yo, this missionary is tight because I've been doing all this crazy
Literally.
shit. Yeah.
He said normal.
Yeah, I'm like, whoa, this normal sex
This
is
is
fucking
tight.
fun.
Oh my god.
Hey, girl. This
What
is
the
tight,
fuck?
girl.
Yeah, this is tight.
This is tight, girl.
But no, I think that like,
Oh my god.
if
I'm gonna run out of wine.
somebody
Hey, is missionary just
Guys, why are you guys not stocked? Like,
I
it's
know.
like,
I do. I
Trader
have a
Joe's.
bottle. I just don't want to get
Yeah.
up.
So
You said
I
Tom
stocked
Trader
on.
Joe's.
I stocked
get
on
that.
like champagne like for tomorrow for brunch.
Ooh.
What?
Nice.
You're still brunching? Are you by yourself?
Anybody? I
No,
have
my
brunch.
husband.
Well, I mean, you're your husband. Y'all still brunching? That's
Yes,
awesome.
we
Aw.
brunch. We brunch.
I did buy champagne for brunch tomorrow too, just to have like brunch.
Yeah,
I
like
didn't
why
get-
not?
If
Like,
anybody
why
wants
not?
to join for brunch tomorrow, let me know. We'll
What
do
time?
it.
What time we meeting? What time we
Well,
meeting?
How can we do? Wait, how can we do brunch?
That's a good
12.
brunch time. I'll be awake and
I don't have
probably
champagne though.
bathed by
Shit.
then.
Yes, sir.
Champagne, yes.
I don't
I have
Where- or orange
champagne,
juice.
OJ, and
Where are we doing
I
brunch? at?
do.
We're doing right
We
here.
all-
Fine.
We
I have
all
White Claw.
Oh,
do
like, a brunch here?
in-person brunch.
We don't
Yeah.
know when we're gonna be able to leave our houses. Like,
Well,
We
at
have
some
no
point,
idea.
we should
We literally
celebrate.
don't know at all.
I'm down to host a brunch.
I'm down to host. I'll be here.
Is everybody in Dallas?
Wait a minute, you talking about doing
I'm
it in
in
person?
The only one is Melanie, but she's in
I'm
Frisco.
Frisco.
But she's
Oh.
not
But
that
that's
far.
not that far. That's not that far.
Not now.
One
There's
with
no
the
traffic.
question.
How many
one with the
cases
question
are
that's about to start
in
getting asked.
Frisco though?
What?
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 I said one
So,
with the question
who's
that's
in
about to get asked
downtown?
all the time. Are we going in person?
Yeah.
That's about to
Ooh.
be like the new question. Oh, hold on. Are we going in person?
Yeah, that's so.
So there's a
That-
Are they
virtual.
open?
So there's two. There's a virtual one tomorrow,
Okay.
and then once
up.
this is all
See?
over, we
That's
should
what I'm
all
saying.
meet up for
Yes.
brunch.
So where does
Okay.
everybody live? So
I
live
just
like
need y'all to Lysol y'all's whole
Wow.
bodies.
so
No, because
I'm in like
perfume.
I'm in,
right now.
I
so
couldn't
where does
find
everybody
Lysol.
live?
I couldn't
Where
either.
does,
No.
where
You
does
out?
everybody live? Where does everybody
You
live?
gotta go
Like
to the
I'm in
hood.
Dallas.
Go to the hood.
Jesse and I are in Deep Ellum.
so I'm in Trinity Groves.
I'm at Trinity Grove.
Juan's
Hey,
in Trinity Grove.
Have you ever been to the CVS over there?
But you stop talking about the
Which
CVS,
one?
man.
Which one? The Sylvan Avenue?
I don't know, but
this on y'all's
you gotta pick up
episodes.
drugs.
You have to ask Juan.
No.
So what
Juan
CVS?
knows
What
where he picks up
CVS?
his drugs.
Juan
Is
does a
it
really
the-
good job at dropping a nugget and then taking it back.
So
Drops it.
what CVS?
You won't. You will never know.
What CVS?
We
Oh
will
my
never
God.
know.
It's a sketchy one and one.
Juan doesn't want to die one day. And
Chris
apparently, like,
Kardaki always gets in my face over there.
I feel like is Trinity Groves the Wire? Is this Baltimore? Like, what's going on over there?
Y'all gonna
No,
get me.
Bishop
y'all gonna get
Arts.
me in the streets, man.
Trinity Groves. It's,
Yeah.
I still got to live with these people.
intense.
I'm gonna lose my card, man.
I just love it because I used to live over
You're gonna
there,
lose your
so I know
card.
it So
Lose my card, man.
I
will
really
say
want to.
it
I
is
want to
got
move in
street
Deep
cred over
Ellum.
It is
Me
hood as
too.
fuck.
It's gonna be.
Trinity.
If I
Deep
still
Ellum
have a
is
job
really
in 3
great.
months, my next year it'll be in Deep Ellum. If not, I don't know what's
But
gonna.
this CVS in
Yeah, I
particular,
need to move
every
closer
time
to
I go, I'm
Dallas.
just like, goddamn.
So Deep Ellum right
So,
now.
Jesus, say the street. Say the street, Juan. Say the street.
There's only two. There's what is it? Sylvan Singleton.
All right, we're not going to
Sylvan.
give the address.
Will you stop talking about CVS, man?
Okay, so Sylvan is the one that's like literally right close to me. So
I have no idea what you're talking about.
This is probably my
Then-
favorite
then there's
recurring
the-
thing
then
about
there's
the
the
podcast.
I don't know. It's like there's a CVS, but like
I go to
Beckley-
Walgreens. Fuck a CVS. I don't even know about that. I go to Walgreens.
Walgreens on Beckley.
Sure.
Walgreens on Beckley.
That's my one. That's one I go to.
Sure.
Yeah, yeah. Let me know. Let's talk offline. Where do you live in my? Don't tell me on the podcast.
No,
but-
I can say it. It's Alexan West.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we're not far.
Yeah. Okay, so we're not far. No.
Yep.
I mean, you,
Only
No,
one
you
that's
ha-
far is
you-
Melanie.
I'm not gonna tell you where we
Andrea,
are on the podcast.
I am. Far.
Andrea, you've been, but Melanie.
I want to
I'm
know who
not
these
sure.
people are that listen so intently only to try to kill you.
Man, you just never know, brother. You never know.
Well, I want to know.
Hey,
So
baby.
if they're listening, if you're listening, please comment and let us know that you're listening. I just want to know, like, I just want to know, like,
And
what
where
the
you
listeners
live.
get.
Real G's moving.
Yeah,
silent.
please.
Yo.
Your apartment number.
Andrea, just cut all this part.
Hey, I do want to know though. Talking about y'all were talking about. You brought it up about
What's up, Tango?
like regular sex, like missionary, whatever. So when it comes to that though, do you guys ever find yourself running the show to where you're like, hey, let's do this position, or do you want the guy to?
Running
Yeah.
the point.
No, I think
like
Who's
the
running
guy-
point
I like
guard?
the balance of the two. Like I like to be dominated sometimes, but I also like to be the one that dominates.
No,
I think
I
it
like.
helps balance.
Question: What is?
I
the
don't like to
extent
be in control
which-
in bed. I
Ooh.
feel like that's one place that I don't.
I
wanna
would
be in
prefer
control
not
of.
to, but I don't mind sometimes like taking control.
I've heard that like powerful people, like that's like you'll find powerful men or women like they like to be dominated because they're so powerful in real life or whatever they do that in sex
Take
wanna
the
get
shot,
dominated.
please. He's just like
That's how I am. I feel like that's my stress relief, and I don't want to have to decide or like dominate in that aspect.
I don't.
You
I
always
get
want
it.
for him
Like, I
to. You always want for him to be the.
Always.
Yeah, like my ex,
mean-
he would text me and he would be like, "Can we have sex tonight?" And I'm like, "Why the fuck
See?
are you texting me?
Exactly.
Like when I get home, I need you to
Exactly.
pounce on me." Like,
yeah.
Like
I
a-
mean,
whoa,
I need you to
like a
ask
I
toy
me.
like
gun.
that too. I'm just
Hey-o.
saying.
Like a
But
sexy.
I also
sexy
like
toy
in the
gun.
middle of it. I also like to be the one to be like, if I want something, like I want to be able to like. make
oh,
sure
definitely. If I like
on it.
am tapping you on the shoulder in the middle
is
of the
good.
night, you
or if
better
I'm like
thing
grabbing
I've
your
learned.
head, I'm like, okay, now let's move.
Okay, all right.
Here's one
let's-
thing I've learned.
Hold on, let's go to that. I like that.
Communication is always key.
Yeah. I like you
Always
said if I'm
key.
tapping your shoulder in the middle of the night. So had you guys already had sex or?
Yes, of
Guys-
course.
So you
And
guys
you,
had
like-
sex and he passes out,
Fell asleep.
and then you're
Woke
waking
up.
him up and if he doesn't wake up and do it, are you like?
I have started it.
Yeah.
That's how you do
I
it.
will
You know,
waken up. I will.
you
I
will
have
awaken
woken up
the
someone.
beast. Waken
Yeah.
the beast.
Like it starts a little bit of. I mean, I don't have to go into detail, but yes, I have like started it, like doing.
You can go into detail.
No, I'm not going.
We have time.
And do it slowly.
No.
Jesse.
No, I mean in
Jesse's
that
taking
case,
notes.
yes, I do start it off, but I mean for the most part, I want them to start it.
What's
Yeah.
what's
I feel
the
like
what's
I
the
feel
best?
like I know what I want, and I should start it. Like I don't
Oh,
wait
wow.
for anybody. Like I
It's
don't.
both. Both.
just
You know what
can't.
you want, just fucking do it.
Yeah, like
Shouldn't be that
Do
hard.
you guys have a move? What's your move? What's your go-to?
What's the thing? Okay. Sorry.
I've got a move, but I just want to know y'all's move.
I want to know your move now.
Ladies
No,
first.
ladies
So
first.
one of my moves is the butt against the.
Mm-hmm.
So like
Oh,
if
yeah.
my butt is against you, like
Great
I'm
move.
asking for it.
Okay.
Mine's
okay,
like
good.
I don't
Unless you're
know.
celibate, then that's a horrible move. Because
I'm just touching dick, and that's it. And you know
Or
what I
that.
want.
Whoa.
Yeah.
This
You know
seems to
it's
be a
down.
reoccurring thing for you. You don't want anything else. You just want the dick.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Good for you, girl.
I know.
She's very clear.
She
on
just
what-
goes,
Melanie,
Aim
I'm the
high.
same. Melanie, I'm the same. Aim high.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm not playing no fucking games. I
do
this
like
is
the
what
game.
want,
I
and that's what
like a little bit of
want.
foreplay, and I'm okay with that. But I will make some like that.
So-
question: is it unacceptable in
Oh,
the same
yes.
right? You
Oh,
said
yes.
like touching dick. I'm touching dick. That's literally what you just said.
Mhm.
What if what if the guy was just like, hey, here this is, and then put
Lay it on top of you.
and
I've
then-
had that
That's
before.
fine.
Right.
I've had
So
that
that's a
before,
good-
and it was fine
right.
for me.
Yeah.
It's usually good. Like when you're not sure of the vibes. I've kind of seen that. That's
Wait a minute. Were you not sure you pulled it out?
You know, if
seen it.
we're already in a
Whoa,
relationship
whoa.
and this is already going on,
well when it hasn't happened yet, but you're like,
Ooh.
oh, hey, it's going on. Hey, this is good. This is good. This is good.
That's
baby. This is good,
different.
baby.
So I
Yeah.
think
And then-
here's the move.
That's different.
So what you're talking about is to try to get it going, right?
Jesse's
No,
like,
no,
pull
no,
it
no,
out.
no, no. It's
Mm.
already
Let's
going.
figure
Yeah,
it
don't
out.
pull it. If I have
It's already
not had
going,
sex with you, like
but-
just don't pull it out and throw it in my.
yeah, if we're
Yeah.
already having a
no, not-
relationship and we have sex pretty often and you're pulling out your dick,
Yeah, that's
like,
different. That's totally different. What I
Yeah,
think he's talking
okay.
about is like to initiate the first time.
The first
Yes.
So
one.
here,
No!
all right.
No.
So here's
Oh,
the move.
oh, no.
Here's the move.
Okay.
Tell me if this
What
move
is
is tell me if this move
what's-
is bad. But here's the move. If you've never had sex and you're making out, I think the move is as you're making out, you choke just a
Yes.
little bit.
That's
Yes,
Just to
I
see-
like that. I
Just
like.
to see,
I
and
like
to see
the.
how far
a
can go,
strong-
because that will
burn.
let you know like where you can take the limit.
Yes.
Are we like the married couple that are just looking like, what are you guys talking about? Like,
I don't know about the choke. I've never
I've
had
never-
that happen to me.
No,
I've
it's
had
not
the
a choke,
hand.
girl.
I've had it.
I've
It's just
had
like
the
a
hand
like
down
the
the
choke.
crotch
Like a
area.
soft-
what's
You
the
gonna
choke?
like
It's like
the
a
choke.
soft, like
Yeah,
it's
like,
almost
hey,
like grabbing
hey,
your face, but like
I'm here.
like your neck.
So, like,
Okay.
I've heard of like the thigh, like like
Yeah, see,
Yeah,
I'm
that's
there with
good.
you,
On the
Monica.
side,
I
like-
like
I
the
love
crotch
physical
area.
touch.
It's
a
a
little bit of
neck.
love.
Let's
Yeah,
move on.
yeah.
You say the crotch area, of course. We all love that in the thigh, but the
gotta get creative.
the choke thing, it's not a full choke. It's like
It's like a
It
you're
depends on
feeling.
the passionate of, or
For
are we
sure.
making out or
Of course,
whatever.
yes,
If that's
yes.
what it is, that's
Passion.
what it's going, then yes, then that's
Yeah.
what we
Passion.
want.
Right.
But
Passion.
but what I'm saying is,
Hey,
like,
I'm a black man. I can't be going around choking nobody. Not even alluding to choking anybody. We stay away from that shit.
honestly, he has a point. Unless it's at CVS.
Oh, do y'all have a safe word?
Mine is
Once again,
pineapple.
I'm black. I can't go anywhere.
Juan-
bananas. Bananas.
Juan's safe word is CVS on Sylvan.
911. That's what they do. They're calling the police.
My safe word
Oh my
is
God.
my safe word is stop. Stop. If I'm saying
Pineapple.
stop, like stop.
Pineapple
I
has
never
been
say
mine.
stop.
Pineapple.
Ooh,
That was
let's
mine
talk
too.
Really?
about- Hey,
Yes, I
girls.
just said that.
Everybody can't
So
have the same safe word
I'm
here.
curious. So oh my God, why is it? Do y'all hear that?
No.
No?
Here's
Yeah.
something.
If y'all hear kids, there's kids outside
Okay.
playing.
Sorry, my microphone was going
Oh
crazy.
no. Riggs is having some food and drinking water too. He's like, what? What?
Oh no, Brent's yawning. What's going on with
No,
that?
I was using this.
Oh.
I was juuling.
I got to start making pasta here soon.
Hey, listen, before we go, I did something the other night off a request of somebody. I watched a movie that I've got a lot of HSOs on this. So someone told me to watch the movie 50 Shades of Grey. I've never seen it.
Oh.
Never seen
I've
it.
never seen it.
Obviously never read the fucking
Which
book.
one? Just the first one?
Just the first one.
See, like
So-
I never got into that, but
All right.
go
So
on.
here's what I want to
did,
say
but
about
my
this.
relationship at the time was shit. So
So here's my
Oh.
thing. So I'm watching it, and first of all, the guy's rich, right? I get it.
Yeah.
Half the shit that he's doing, if he wasn't rich or attractive, he would be in jail. It was so creepy. Like, he would just show up at places, like all the things he's doing. I'm like, what? Like, no one does this. No one would ever do this. But
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's called the halo effect. If you are dressed nice, you look nice,
Halo
people
effect.
are going to, the halo effect. So people are going to trust
Yeah.
you more. If
Ooh.
you look nice,
But here's my thing though.
That
But
makes
here's
a lot of sense.
I like that.
right. No, I like that. But here's the thing that got me. It wasn't that. Like that, I was like, all right, this is weird, but I get for the movie and whatnot. But he was like into like BDSM, like he was the dominant, looking for a submissive and like all that. And girls love it. So I'm thinking, is this like secretly deep down, the girls want to be like dominated? Like,
Yes,
I mean,
they
he was
do.
into like crazy shit, like tying up, like whipping, like all that stuff. Now I get that goes a little bit extreme, but all these girls loved it. So there's got to be something to it.
I mean, I feel like
you don't just love something and you don't want anything to do with it.
well,
That's something
First
you
of
have
all-
to talk about with your partner.
yeah, and I mean, they're actors, first of all, and
No, I'm talking about how all the girls loved the book and the movie.
Yes.
I
Like-
didn't. I'm not the kind
Well,
of person that gets into that.
Yeah,
stuff.
well, yeah, and I feel like it just depends. I feel like for some people, like if women find pleasure in torture, I mean, like in pain, not torture, but like pain, I mean, that's their thing. And that's why I feel like if some women really like that. But a lot of people romanticize the fact that he was rich and charming and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
So you can
that
do whatever
was-
you want
Yeah.
to me.
that was the only reason why women were okay with that, because he was charming, he was handsome. I mean, like
I
Melanie.
don't know how charming he was. He was
Andrea.
kind of weird. He was like, "I'm coming to pick you up right now," and just like all this. I was like, "What a
Yeah.
fucking." He
Like
was
a-
like Mark Wahlberg in Fear, except for Mark Wahlberg in Fear was broke.
I actually like Mark Wahlberg in Fear.
He was a psycho.
Don't encourage Brent.
Oh my god.
Don't encourage Brent.
That's one of my favorite movies. That's pretty bad.
Wow, he
I've
was a
actually never seen
literal
it.
psycho.
Yeah, I haven't either.
Oh my
Reese
God, watch this
Witherspoon is in
movie.
that movie. She's like
Oh, really?
19 years old.
Really?
Wait, what movie is that?
Oh, Fear. Yes. Oh my God, I love that.
Fear.
He was
I haven't
actually
seen
really
it.
hot.
He was freaking
Yeah,
hot.
he was hot, but he
Those
was
were
a
his
fucking
Calvin Klein
psycho.
days.
I don't
Psycho.
care. Stalk me
Okay.
like
So
that.
if
yes.
a guy's hot, he can get away with whatever.
Yes.
No,
Yes.
No, if we're in a
Yes.
relationship
Mark
and
Wahlberg.
this is we're already having sex,
Yes,
then you can do
okay.
that.
Yeah.
But
no,
if
if he's Mark Wahlberg,
He can do whatever.
That's
Oh
the
yeah,
only
and
way.
Mark
washboard
Wahlberg.
abs.
I will let
Shit,
Mark Wahlberg.
Mark
do
Wahlberg
it.
right
He's part
now.
of the funky
So here's what
bunch.
we found out, guys. Be successful and hot, aka Mark Wahlberg or Christian Grey, and you can do whatever the fuck you want.
Mm-hmm.
Basically.
All right. Thanks.
and go to therapy.
I'm glad that we
You
did.
could be your own Christian
Bye.
Grey with your own.
I'm glad that we
woman.
did a 2-hour podcast just so I could learn that all you have to do in life is be hot and rich, and you can do whatever.
And remember your wallet.
And
Remember your wallet. And if you're under 5 foot, disclose it
Don't have a micro penis.
and wear shoes.
Don't ever
Wear
have a
shoes.
micro penis.
Please wear
Ever.
shoes. At least wear shoes on a trail.
And Jesus slippers don't count.
Jesus
No, they
slippers
don't.
Do not count.
Oh, that's so
flip-flops
gross.
All right,
not
who's
count.
down for a virtual brunch tomorrow? Who are we talking, Melanie?
I'm down. Let's
I'll
do
go.
it.
Let's do it.
All right.
I'll
Let's
cook
do it.
eggs.
This
It's
is
not
great.
recorded,
Y'all
just
know I
for
don't
fun.
have anything
This is
else to
great.
fucking do or
I know.
anywhere else to
I
be.
mean, people. I mean, we might not want to see each other, and like, I don't know, we might get bored of each other. Who knows? Probably not.
Well, this
So,
is-
like, Mi Casino was actually giving to-go cups, like, for their Mambo taxis, but then
oh
they
yeah,
stopped
there's a
the
bunch
next
of places
day.
here.
No,
Y'all
but they
know all these
stopped it,
places
and I
have
was
quarantine
so
They stopped it?
sad. Yes.
So is anybody getting their hair done or anything during this time? Or we're all just gonna let it go?
My
We're
dad,
about-
my shit
my
done.
I got
dad
my
just
hair done
texted me
today.
that
Woo.
barbers
I'm
just
still
shut
not
down.
done, but
Yes.
almost there.
My husband just got his haircut done on Bishop Arts. He goes to, like, a barber in Bishop Arts.
I hope y'all
I'm
did.
doing it myself.
I hope
don't
y'all
remember
did
the name
because
of it.
all that shit is shut down now.
Man, I'm gonna
Is
try to
it?
go to High and Tight
Yeah.
right now
Oh,
because
shit.
it all got shut
no,
down.
No, it's all down.
It's all down right now.
Yeah.
Already.
I think at the end of the day.
Yeah, at the end of the
What do
day,
you
they shut
mean?
all
So-
shut all barbershops and like
hair salons
hair
and
salon,
all that.
They shut it all down.
So we're doing.
Can I ask y'all a
we're
question? How are y'all really feeling about all this, like being home and stuff?
I'm optimistic.
I'm loving it.
I'm
I-
optimistic.
I think that, like I said earlier, I think as Americans, as people, we learn how to adapt to things. So I think
Yes.
last week was tough. Next week will
Yeah.
get better. By the time it's all over, we will have adapted to this so
Yeah.
much to the point that when it switches back, we'll be like, oh shit, this is weird. Now we can go back outside.
But
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
adapt quick. But I think
I hope so.
the beauty of this, I think that what I want to come out is, I think we'll stop caring about all like buying a car that we don't need, buying shit that we don't need. What we'll come back to is relationships, family, shit like this in real life, and essentials, and just and not taking this kind of stuff for granted because it got taken away from us. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
I agree 100%. I think that it's like, I don't know if you guys have seen pictures of Venice and how like, Venice canals are like cleared out.
I know.
In a matter of days.
It's great.
Yeah. And it's like, I think that it's like this major reset that, I mean, personally, I was looking for and I didn't know what to do. And it's weird because it's like, it's made me appreciate the people in my life a lot more. Yeah. And I'm here by myself, so I miss my family terribly now, and it's been rough. And yesterday, in full transparency, like, I don't know if I'll have a job in 2 months. So I work for an online e-com company, so it's very uncertain for us.
It's the first time I can ever remember in my life where everyone in the entire world is unified.
Yeah.
Like unified together.
And it's just about getting creative and supporting each other. And like, in all honesty, like these 2 hours were like the highlight of my whole week. I'm not going to lie. This was great. Like I had so much fun, and this is what we need to like really continue to do, whether it's just whatever, just like really connect with each other. Cause I think that's ultimately what we're missing and what was being missed. So I just see it as a giant reset for the entire world of like, focus on what's important.
I think the COVID-19 will kill off fuckboys forever.
Hopefully.
They never die. Fuckboys never die.
They're like roaches. They're like roaches.
From your mouth,
like roaches. You step on them and like, oh, you still around?
Goonies and fuckboys never die.
I feel like as an introvert, like I'm always by myself and to myself. I feel like I've had to not go out physically, but like reach out to people and talk to them because I'm just not that type of person. So it's like brought this whole new like extrovertness of myself.
Hey, that's good.
To people, or to talk to people.
I will say that there's going to be a lot of positive coming out of this.
Yeah.
And I feel like in this time you really do have to give yourself self-compassion at the fact that you're not going to, don't feel like you need to be productive. Don't feel like you need to record the podcast, do the thing, come up with the business. Like that's, I mean, because in my therapy practice, I see entrepreneurs, like startup people, entrepreneurs.
That's like my panic. I'm like, what am I going to do if I lose a job? Like
you don't
immediately figure this out.
Yeah, and you don't have to be productive. Like you can sit in the feeling and be like, okay, let me figure out what my next step is. Yeah. You don't have to feel like you have to do something, go, because this is a time to slow down and to reflect and figure out what is it that we really want to prioritize in our lives and what is it that we really want and really connect with people. Yeah, absolutely.
And I think what's really important is us, people. Like we are important, and we need to. Hopefully, the last couple of years have been weird. There's been like all this weird racism shit that you're like, what the fuck is happening? Like, I thought we got past this. All this bullshit that we've been dealing with that we like progressed past.
So do y'all
hopefully
think that
this kicked that back to where now we unify as people and we just go, hey, like let's just love each other and fucking the rest will work itself out.
That's what I was asked. Like, do you think that this?
Yes,
now where everyone's in the same boat,
100%.
I mean, relatively.
Doesn't matter how much money you have or who you are.
Everybody across the board.
And it's globally. It's not like my family. I have family in Switzerland. I have family in Colombia. They're all my uncle in Switzerland is a doctor, and he was like, "This is something to take very, very, very seriously. Like, stay home, home, and stay put." And everybody's
this is
on
Riggs.
Hi, Riggs.
This is our buddy.
So Riggs has said, "Oh, so you're tripping out over being stuck inside all day. This is my life. I basically had coronavirus my whole life.
Day. Welcome to my hell day.
Welcome to my life. I just wake up, I go on a walk, I eat, and I drink, and I just lay around.
He's the best boy.
Yeah. So.
OG coronavirus.
I think if we all stay positive, we can push, a new message to where going forward, we're less about the material shit, and we're more about the or less about the exterior, more about the interior.
Because trust me, I know
I'm
some people that
saying,
got
like-
some Louis Vuittons right now that they would trade those Louis Vuitton shoes for some toilet paper.
That's
Oh,
crazy,
sure.
right? And they would
Yeah.
have never done that. And now,
No.
it's like toilet paper and hand sanitizer, the things that you would walk past any day of the week.
Yep.
You would go spend your money on a car that you don't need. Now it's like, fuck that car. I need those things, and I just need people. And that's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. I'm just gonna
That
like
being said-
repeat one thing that my CEO said, and it'll be like the last thing I'll say is he said it's a moment to not panic and pay attention, to not let go of the rope, and to move forward with positivity. So
That's great.
we'll get through this, guys.
Boom. Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you guys. This is awesome.
Thank you. This
Thank
is so much
you
fun.
guys.
Cheers.
So
Love you
much.
guys.
I love this so much.
Yeah,
I love
do
this
it again
too.
tomorrow.
All right. Bye.
Yes, brunch.
All right.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.